to have everyone talk about would be this update 1.57. It just dropped. We got slapped in the face with some handling changes. Some of them were more profound than others. It seems like Slipstream's definitely a thing of the past, being so strong and annoying, but I think people will still kind of use it here and there. But more in pairs, not so much big train. But the handling physics were the real key of this whole update, and they weren't as big a change as I was kind of fearing and everyone else was, but they are substantial. So it is substantial. Car to car, it will be different. So starting with Deafsun, I mean, how much time have you put into
Hello.
this update? How you doing?
Probably at least like 3 or 4 hours. It's one of those things where you don't want to leave like any stone unturned because a car that may have been really weak before, or even like strong before, may just have suddenly become even stronger or contributed towards making a manufacturer like a lot more viable. And in terms of like how good the cars are. I think one of the things that's just as important as like how good the car is just how many people realize how good it is. Because you could have a really strong car manu, but if nobody knows it's any good, then it's just not going to get any good drivers in it to qualify. So the that's just as important. And the biggest thing that felt different to me from before is the MR cars, like the Ferrari, the Lambo, or at least the handling based MR cars are a lot more drivable than they used to be.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it right there for a second. So, because we still have Cardsfan coming through with the echo, if we can just
Hello?
adjust that.
Is the echo still there or what?
This thing?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it's there.
Damn.
It's all good.
I mean, you got time to unmute it if you get asked a question.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start back up again by having everyone kind of introduce themselves. So I'm gonna.
Outlaw would have joined the party.
Who? Outlaw? I know he doesn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't joined yet. I don't know why. But okay. So starting with. Oh, Cardsfan, you good?
Hopefully.
Starting
Yeah.
with.
Starting with we shoot.
Oh my god.
All right.
Is it gone?
Yeah, I
Uh,
think so. Yes.
yes.
Hello, 1, 2. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's
Oh my
gone.
god, it's gone.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Alright.
Sweet.
All right. So I'm gonna start with Deafsun. Just give your PSN, what country and region you're in.
Name is PX7 Deafsun, Canadian, and yeah, I haven't picked the manufacturer yet, so I guess I can't give that. But hopefully
No.
by tomorrow.
Oh no, I didn't want to give. Yeah, I wouldn't do you like that and ask you to reveal
Yeah,
the
well,
trick.
I
but
would
yeah.
have said it. I would have said it just to
Right.
make everything more simple. But it's like I physically can't because I don't know
No,
yet.
exactly. Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat more or less. But I think at the end,
My
I might
preferences, but
I might ask people for some hints at the end of this show. So, but moving on from there, we have Infinity, PHX Infinity. What's your name and your PSN, and what country are you in?
So I'm Mark, PX7 Infinity. I'm from the UK, in EMEA, obviously.
Sweet,
And I drive for BMW.
awesome, good. That's a good one. And then Cardsfan, hit us with your name, your PSN, what country and region you're in.
Alright, I'm PX7 Cardsfan. I am from the United States and I'm from the North American region.
Awesome. And then Koopa, same for you.
Alright. My name is PX7. No, I'm sorry. My name is T.
no, it's fine. You can say it. No, you can say it.
My name is TX3 Cooper. Obviously I'm from NA, and I still don't know what manufacturer I want to drive for. So, yeah.
Mystery.
just
Cool.
be TX7 or mix them up?
Definitely TX7.
Yeah,
TX7.
TX3, bruh. And then we also have Jara in here. He may pop in later. He may be snoring in the mic later. We never know. Yeah, good group of guys to have on the show. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me while we talk about some Gran Turismo updates and stuff. So, Andrew, you talked about how you have done like 3 hours. Oh, the echo's kind of back. Cards.
Test.
Left.
Test.
Shit, that goes back.
Yeah, you might have
One,
to
two.
mute your mic unless you're like
Infinite's the
speaking.
Yeah.
best. Yes, thank you. I am the best.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Okay.
Test. All right, it's back. It's okay. It's gone. We're good. So, Andrew,
All right.
what's your hot
Yep.
take on 1.57? What you like or don't like about it?
It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's hard to say what's back. I think the whole thing about it that's kind of off-putting is the schedule in some regions. Or what am I kidding? It's like it's EMEA with the 7 slots, but like most of the changes that we've actually tested and had time to change so far seem good. Like the fact that you don't. Well, the range of the slipstream is the same, so it's 1.5, but it's a lot weaker. I was going down the straight on Fuji in the 4GT when I was trying some cars earlier, and it was Lamb behind me in the WRX, and he basically stagnated and didn't catch up to me, whereas on the previous slipstream, he for sure would have at least been able to go alongside me for the braking zone. So that's
Right.
definitely a good thing. So you can still benefit from it in qualifying, but I think we could say it was maybe like 2/10 that you gain from slipstreaming, maybe 3 depending on the track, but this was Interlagos, so not super slipstream based compared to something like, I guess, Seaside. So it's still there and you could still benefit off of it, but it's not the kind of thing where somebody who would have qualified 10th is going to get pole now just because they got a slipstream, so that's definitely positive. As far as the cars go, most of the FRs feel kind of similar, but I didn't drive very many, and the MRs, at least the ones that are more handling based, feel a bit more planted now, and a lot more consistent for like race situation. Their raw pace is probably still pretty similar, like if you take it for a quali lap or time trial, but the real benefit I think for the update on those cars is the fact that they're so much more viable to use in a race now, and you won't be having to like clench your buttocks every single lap trying to survive. So that is, I guess, a quick take from me.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully the slipstream, because you said 1.5 seconds earlier. The gap used to be like 1.8, right? Or has it been?
It's still 1.5. It's the same as before. But the
I felt like it was
strength,
1.7 or 1.8 before, but yeah, strength.
Oh no, it was
reduced.
definitely 1.5. It was so the same distance back you'll get it from, but at that point, I think when you're at like 1.3, 1.4, it's very, very like subtle. Whereas before, if you were at say 1.3 versus like 0.3, you would still get it feels like you're still getting basically the full effect, which is why it was so broken to get someone's draft train qualifying. Is because you could start that far back and then have 1.5 seconds worth of space to the car in front to close up and have an advantage on them. Whereas now, if you start that far back, the benefit is so little that it's going to be a lot less worth it to, I guess, park the car and look for somebody.
It's got to stop the draft train. That was so ridiculous, man. It made
yeah.
us feel like a bunch of clowns just fucking running around with
It looks stupid
everybody.
too.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. There's nothing romantic. There's nothing Gran Turismo about that at all.
Nope.
Cooper.
One of the
Oh, I'll ask him after you continue. Go ahead.
just a little thing. One of the things we noticed now was with some of the qualifying, it's like one issue solved or one puzzle piece put back in, another one out. It's like when we were doing a couple tests earlier for some of the other combos, one of the things seems to be that, well, since there's no fuel consumption and there's tire wear, now the thing seems to be instead of looking for draft and like getting a lap that way, you do your lap and then you reset to the pits and then do a second lap. So you have time to do two, but then that kind of, I guess some would argue that that still is a bit kind of unquali-like. But, I mean, I still think it's better than, like, you know, the draft train. But it was just something worth mentioning because I don't know if that's going to, like,
That's true.
cause the room to lag or anything like that. But Just worth throwing out
You
there.
never know. There's always going to be something worth complaining about whenever
Oh
you
yeah.
change stuff, because now people are just going to be a little more scattered in their qualifying runs, because not everyone, because before it kind of condensed everyone into the same strategy, so everyone was kind of in line. So now everyone's going to have a different, you know, approach to qualifying, because you have the freedom to do that now. So stuff you may run into the situation will be you'll be running in slow cars and stuff like that, just like real life racing. So it's closer to real life stuff, which we all want. So
Yeah.
Cooper, what have you found interesting in the update so far?
Uh, I feel as if like most MR cars are more stable.
Yeah, I've
Um,
felt that in the RSO1.
um, Not only that, I do notice that some cars have been either improved on fuel and some cars have been neutered on fuel. So, apparently the 2016 Lexus has better fuel economy than the 16 now, and
Hmm.
it actually has better tire wear than the 16 apparently. Uh, what else have I noticed? I've noticed that the slipstream isn't as strong anymore, so literally it's still a factor, but like it's a what it basically means is that you can if someone is clearly slower than you can literally run away from the driver that's behind, I
Yeah.
feel. Um you can also just like you can basically just like it's a much easier time sitting behind well actually being in front of someone and just like running away instead of just like just carrying them all across the track. And I feel that that's a very good thing that they've like improved in the game. I also noticed that Group 2 Dirty Air isn't like some people will say it's the same, but I don't really feel that at all. Like last time I was doing Group 2 races, and I
I
think
love
it
it.
did it earlier today. I don't think it's that bad as people say it is, honestly.
Right.
So, um, I don't know if that's like player preference. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's like improper testing of the dirty air. But I literally don't like feel the dirty air being a big impact on the actual in this game as much as it was last update. The final thing I'll notice is that what else have I noticed? FF Tower has not changed like in the slightest.
Ah, yeah, that's what everyone was hoping
Right.
for,
So like
or not hoping for. Sorry.
so it's like FF Tower is literally just it's not really improved. So Windfire did a test earlier this morning. I was in the lobby with him, and we were literally testing out the Group 4 Audi TT, and we were also testing out the Viper. And so after 5 laps, the Viper had better tire wear, and the Audi TT had like worse fronts than it. And you got to realize that the Viper is one of the worst Group 4 cars on tires, apparently.
Hmm.
And the TT is the second best FF to the Scirocco on like tire wear, and like that's a big factor. And then we saw the race pace, we saw the race like the laps, and the TT was 1 second slower in a total time
Damn.
compared to the actual Viper, and had worse tire wear as well. Had better fuel, I won't lie, because the TT is pretty decent on fuel, but the tire wear really just hasn't changed a whole lot. And uh, four-wheel drive Group 4 cars and even like FF cars, it still hasn't like had a big like impact, to be honest.
And that's where we really needed it. It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, and I would have hoped that they would have fixed it, but the problem is that it seems if it's a situation that they really just like FF cars are gonna drive like FF cars. Like
Yeah.
I completely, you know, um, I basically just I don't know, like FF cars specifically drive like the way they do in like real life, basically, and it's like it's hard to make those cars in any way, shape, or form competitive when you have to deal with that certain level of like wear in the front tires, and that just makes everything so uncompetitive compared to like the other like Group Four, Group Four cars in the category. So, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I've noticed. There's a couple other things such as the well, they've kind of like made some other changes to like the schedule, which I do like as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it from this update. It's not. I wasn't really expecting much from it, but I think after today, I can say that this was like a pretty good update. I think some people, especially from like the EMEA region, may like disagree with me, but I don't know. It is what it is. So
Yeah, the schedule over there is pretty brutal, and we have a guy from
yeah.
the UK. Do you do so Infinity? Do you do a lot of racing in the FIA, the old tournament there?
Yeah, I do quite a bit of racing in there. Obviously, I work with an NA team though, so scheduling is quite a big thing for me. I like the earlier run times of the races because it gives me a bit more of a chance to compete in a few more races before I have to go to sleep, so I can wake up and deal with these guys. But yeah, I'm liking the earlier times. Maybe not so much the increased amount of races. From what we know, the DR limit might change, and that might give an unfair advantage to EMEA drivers because more splits means more of a chance to get your DR up. So you're probably going to get the case where EMEA drivers have maybe a couple thousand more DR per
Yeah,
sort of FIA day than North America.
because I wonder what the new cap is. Has that been disclosed anywhere? I know they just said it was
think so.
increasing.
They said it's a new cap, but I don't even know like what the actual cap is gonna be.
It could
To
be
be
80, it
honest,
could be 90, it could be 2 billion. We don't know.
like I'm actually gonna go ahead and check my companion app and see how much DR I have.
Yeah, we
right
could
now.
get some pixel counters out there to see how much black has been added to the 75k drivers.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
sad, dude. I fucked up. I had 75k. Was it like after the 9th round of FIA, and then going into the final had like really bad races. The chicane at Catalunya owned me.
It's pot luck, isn't it?
So it
Whether
went
you get through
down.
that.
Yeah, it's terrible in the RS01, dude. I invite you guys to try it. Well, if you still have an unupdated copy of GTS, try that shit out. But
The
right
M6
now
is
it's pretty
bad
nice.
enough.
M6 is bad too. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few. Like, going over it in the Lexus, the Lexus is good. The Mazda is better. Going over the Jag with it right now, I'm like, geez, it's so nice going. I mean, FR cars in general handle that chicane so much nicer, but yeah, it's a trade-off. I feel like overall the differential, to me, it seems like a differential change. I think it was Saika mentioned it on Twitter, saying how he felt like it was a differential change, and then I got to drive the
Yeah.
cars, and I was like, yeah, it's like the initial diff setting got like turned up,
The
cranked
only other
up.
thing I can put it down to is maybe, especially on the MRs, the rear might have been stiffened up a bit as well.
Yeah, because I feel a little pushier in weird ways too in
Yeah.
MR.
A lot less oversteery.
Yeah, controllable though. As if the MR cars needed any more help, but they did. Some of them did. Some of them really did. But the Citroen, I think, is going to be a world beater now.
I think
I do like it.
I think The only thing that's holding Citroen back is pretty much the Group 4 car, because I think the Group 3 Citroen is arguably better, arguably like in some cases better than the NSX in a way,
I
even though the
believe that.
NSX is like really really good. But the problem is that the NSX has a good Group 4 car, which has pace as well, and it can actually save fuel. Not the best on tires as well, but I think that's what makes the Honda better than the Citroen, because simply of the Group 4 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like with the Group 3 especially, it's like maybe the Citroen has a little more top end, but that I feel like the Honda still has a little bit more just like overall pace to it. But as an overall manufacturer though, they both at their strengths are just a bit more like the Citroen is very much a fuel kind of that's where it'll succeed in like a fuel based race, whereas the Honda, I guess that's the thing though, the Honda's good on fuel too, so you can make an argument for both manufacturers just based on the schedule
Yeah,
basically.
I think the Honda's just worse on its tires compared to the Citroen.
Rear
That's-
tyre wear will have improved as well. The M6, I've noticed, it doesn't have bad rear tyre wear, but it's definitely going to have a lot better rear tyre wear now because of the more stability. You're not losing the back end as much and putting so much stress on the tyres.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm liking the Jag. The Jaguar right now to me is like a girl that I dated a couple years back maybe. And I see her again, and like we broke up. It was a bad breakup, you know. But then we saw each other again at like Smith's or something. Oh, supermarket.
It's a beautiful car, dude.
And then I was like,
I
hey,
love it.
wow, you've lost some weight. Are we still cool? But
Oh
yeah,
my god.
I like it. But I like a few cars. I don't know what I'll go for. The thing for me is like, I need to wait for others to pick, you know. I'm like the hyena. I need to let the lions do their thing, and then I'll just go in and pick something that's like,
Well, I think you're making a
passable.
great choice with picking that. It's just the question, like I said before, if other people just understand its potential as well. If you'll
Yeah,
have teammates
exactly.
that use it.
It's such a, you have to really have a team going.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile just reaching out, talking to people, making deals. Yeah. But,
And the thing about this is that like I actually like that it's now the top 3 scores instead of the top 5 or all 5 scores, because like you don't have to rely on someone from another region scoring less now. So like you can literally just team up with 3 people instead of 5.
yeah.
2 other people, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, the possibility of being let down by just one region that would ruin your shit back then. So I'm glad they
Yeah.
changed that for 2019 or 2020. Yeah, right. That's when it was introduced. Or was it
Yeah,
last year?
29. Actually, well, I think it was 2020. That was like the first time they did the point. Oh yeah, it was, because then
Yeah.
I remember Lamb had the whole thing with Alpha and like how Oceania was getting like 1 point on Brands Hatch, even though she was getting really good scores there.
And I feel
And
like
now that won't be an issue.
Alpha's gonna get dropped, man. It seems like, I don't know if Lamb's gonna pick it. Then it's like, well, someone
Oh
strong
no, it's
needed to
not.
pick it. Yeah.
Alpha, man, the friggin' we were testing yesterday, and somehow the Alpha Group 4 now has like really good, or at least a well above average fuel consumption at full pace, like
Oh.
compared to other cars going full pace, which to me is baffling, considering it already has its tire wear as its strength and the quartering, and yeah. So I don't know how the Group 3 fared with that update, but the Group 4 definitely was, at least from what we tested in a quick little frame there, from what we know, it's definitely benefit from it for Alpha.
Yeah. And Cardsfan was with Ford. The thing about Ford is like you can't pick the Group 3 Ford, right? Because I mean you can't pick the Mustang because they're using the Ford GT at events, right?
Pretty much.
But have you tried it recently? How's it changed for you?
Oh, I haven't tested the GT yet. But I think what I heard from Deafy is like it was really good before the update happened. Then after it happened, it's just kind of got a nerf of its own.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really touched it a lot since then.
The fuel is tough, man. I love that car though. I remember when it first came out and it was killing it at Bathurst. I was so happy with it.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
The fuel is was a tough issue. And yeah,
Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to see in fuel races. Whereas the GT was just really good in raw pace, but then we got to deal with fuel mileage situations. It just kind of falls off.
yeah. It's just a shame. I mean, it seems like the Mustang would be fun, but I guess you can't go with it. It's gonna be interesting these next few days, watching Twitter, seeing people lay down their territory marks, and going from there. People reacting. Yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled to see how the drama unfolds with these musical chairs that we do.
Yep.
I just wish there were a few more viable cars. There's just missed opportunities out there for the game makers to right some of these things. And Outlaw Quadrant's still going to be doing his spreadsheet, which you can find on his GT Planet. He doesn't have a Twitter, but he's definitely on GT Planet, and he'll be linking to that to keep track of everyone doing their thing. I might throw a link in to these podcast, footers or whatever later on as well. And yeah. Oh, I wanted to. So, Cardsfan, you did the IGTL World Series race today, and how was all that?
Qualifying.
Qualifying, was it? Oh, tomorrow's Friday. I keep thinking it's Friday. Yeah, it's Thursday. April 23rd. I had too much 420 for my week, so I forgot.
It's
I
all
forget
good.
stuff. 420 was really good this year, and it was really bad at the same time. Because my dealer's quarantined. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, the IGTL World Series, it's a pretty cool event. Are you going to do it, Andrew?
I haven't been following too much on it, but considering I don't even know when it starts,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where since the season's starting and we had so little time to like test, and I knew that I'd probably want to change manufacturers, which I don't even know if I want to switch for sure yet, but
Yeah.
I knew that I want to spend most time possible to figure that stuff out, so I didn't want to kind of overcommit to stuff that I thought would
Definitely.
I guess take the attention off that a little bit.
Well, it's
I
funny
knew that would need a lot of effort.
because it's like Bentley and Alex GT is anytime there's like a little drama, they'll go on. Like on the official Gran Turismo Twitter post, if people are complaining, they'll be like, "Run our series instead."
Yeah, it's a bit they're kind of like anti FIA, but I mean some of the things that it's like I don't mean like throw shade, but like there's like some people who like hate FIA like so much,
Oh, yeah.
but like don't make any leagues or don't have like the materials to like actually make something that's actually better than FIA, because in many cases, like especially like last year, like I raced in a few leagues that
Yeah.
people just like I've raced with people who have not liked the format of FIA, but like they literally don't know like how to create like a perfect combo for that all the drivers would like. It's crazy because some of the combos that PD like offers us isn't really like that bad, to be honest. I think it's just some combos are just like completely like ruined because of the slipstream and the obviously the fuel. But another thing is that like some of these people who literally complain about the combos will literally have a combo that's like Group 1 at Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop with weak slipstream. So
Yeah, the uninspired choices. I mean, and then it's up to the leagues to try and do better. And the leagues that feel free to name names because I love all of the effort that everyone's putting into these leagues these days. Because I was
do too.
around for GT5 leagues, and a lot of them were trash. Some were really good. We tried hard, but the level of effort that goes into leagues these days with the limited scope that Gran Turismo Sport allows you to work in, it's amazing what they're doing. And obviously, Five Signs has done an awesome job with the ESGT and all the umbrella series that go on underneath it. Definitely check that out if you're interested in racing stuff besides the regimented FIA stuff.
Yeah, and there's also FIA. There's also GT Fusion, which is a league that my team TX3 are participating in. Um, and I
Dude.
do, yeah, and I do plan on working with my team to develop like a league that
Oh,
will,
awesome.
I don't know, like it's gonna be some sort of like endurance league, and we're gonna try and invite every like top team out there, and even like created teams too.
I love it, dude.
So
People can find that on your. If you post any updates and stuff about that, it'll be on your Twitter, right?
well, yeah, it'll be on the TX3 official Twitter, maybe next week, maybe. But
What's your Twitter?
um
What's theirs and yours?
it's well, the account, the first, well, the Cooper TX3.
Awesome, man. I'll definitely
So
keep an eye out. That sounds exciting.
and there's a whole ton of other leagues too. It's just some people in like who like don't like FIA, they don't set up like perfect leagues. So I think people also have to like be very wary of like the leagues that they're signing up for, but they also have to be I don't know, like more like they have to like look at leagues and start like understanding like which league would like suit me the best. So
Yeah,
I
sure.
I've picked a certain amount of leagues that will like I will like definitely partake in. So it's really just all about just trying to find the perfect league out there, and there's like so many that you can do, and oftentimes they do provide like prizes and awards. So I think if people were offered that same opportunity, then I think many people would partake in like league racing on this game.
For sure, I love it. And joining us now, we have Mike Rove, one of the cores of the Team Phoenix. How's it going, bro?
Thank you so much. It's going good.
Awesome. Just to be clear, you have your voice set to be shared, yeah?
I believe I do.
Just go ahead and check that for me real quick. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, otherwise people will just hear me talking to me. But yeah.
Yeah, I keep it on most of the time. I like to share the voice of the party chat when I stream. Everyone loves hearing from all my teammates when I'm racing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's the thing I like about Lloyd's streams and everything. Yeah, that's
I think you're good, Mike. I heard you in the stream.
But
Okay.
to be honest, sometimes I feel weird about having party chats. Like people invite me to chats, and I'd love to be in them, obviously. But sometimes I just need to be zone out and be in my own head during races. But then sometimes I see how many people, like Andrew and all you guys are in parties all the time, and I'm like, maybe that's the secret sauce.
I don't know, man. It can be pretty brutal.
It takes adjusting
Yeah.
to get used to driving with so many voices like in the background. And
I never used to
sometimes you
join
gotta meet some
parties.
people.
And then I just kind of, I think it was Windu, or no, it was someone who convinced me. They're like, oh, just be the part. And then I realized, like, it's not that bad. It kind of helps you, I guess, with the whole selective intention thing. Because if you do end up qualifying for some event or whatever, then, like, you won't really have a choice to, like, just block out. I mean, as good as those noise canceling headphones are, you're still going to get some stuff that seeps through. So, like, the fact that you're in a party chat with a shit ton of people talking in the background, it kind of, I guess, helps you get used to it in a way. Just like singling out your focus to like what matters and like that selective hearing or whatever.
And especially like during like FIA, it's like it's kind of nerve wracking when you hear that, and it's oftentimes these people to like leave the lobby or like have to like people have to mute you in the chat as well. So it's like, I don't know. The thing is that the thing that I don't like about party chats is like, I'm I can try and be like as calm as I can, but like I know that won't matter because if I'm in like a FIA race and like I hear like 17 or I hear 14, 15 people talking at the same time, it's like, how is my message being transmitted to different people? And that's the thing that like really gets to me about like party chats, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be kind of weird sometimes, but I think it's cool. I appreciate the communal aspect and people kind of just keeping these friendships going through party chat, and then you're involved. You feel like you're more involved in the races and stuff like that, especially if you're split up into different splits and shit like that.
Yeah.
Keeps it cool. And you know when someone's having a bad race, they either get quiet or they get loud, you know what I mean?
I often try to like go in between both. Like, oftentimes if things don't go my way, I'm just like I just like I think of what I'm about to say before I actually say it most times. Because some things that I could, yeah. Because obviously some things that you say at your mouth is like heat of the moment, obviously, and that's happened before in like numerous like races on this game. So,
yeah, just randomly say, "I hate cars." I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But so we'll ask Mike what he's thought of this update real quick, and then we'll move on to talking about other stuff. But what have you noticed? What do you think about this latest update there, Mike?
This update, I mean, the slipstream was one of the major problems, and it seems like they've taken an aggressive kind of approach to making that better for the racing. Like, it's not like you can be, as far back and still get pulled the same way. You have to be a lot closer to really get an effect. And even then, it's definitely weaker, so at least they're trying. A lot of developers won't put as much effort into a game that's almost 3 years old.
It's such a weird thing,
Overall,
though, right?
I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that's great. But it's a weird thing that they didn't. It's not like the game came out like this. We had a pretty good slipstream for most of the time of the game, but then they randomly changed it, and then we made a big deal about it. And now that they brought it back to kind of where it was, somewhat, we're all
I
like,
think
"That's awesome."
Mm-hmm.
I think because I remember like when the actual like slipstream was like what 7/10, and like a lot of people at the time they were saying that it wasn't realistic, and slipstream is like more than like a second and a half. But the problem is that when you can't just be the slipstream can't just be like 1.5 seconds. It has to be like 1.5 seconds, but it shouldn't be like
have that big of an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other stuff
definitely.
they've changed too has been good with this update. It's been a good update overall compared to most of them.
I agree, yeah. Overall.
And then
I mean, it's obviously going to be people that don't like this update, but I mean, PD can't please everyone, so.
Nope. It's like getting a free car is offensive as well, which is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, going from there, I wanted to ask you guys what your vision kind of was when it comes to FIA and the way that it might run this year as far as the big tournament. Like, will it be online only? Will Monaco, do you think, still happen? What's kind of your instinctual sort of take on what is going to go down here, starting with Andrew Brooks, Deafsun.
Oi.
Oh, is that your cat?
Yeah, let's go with that. I just missed that question. What was that? My bad?
No problem.
I was just at my computer.
Yeah, I was just asking what your take. How do you think the FIA tournament will go on this year? Will it be online only? Do you think there'll be Monaco still? What's kind of your instinct on that?
I mean, I probably know just as much as the next person. It's one of those things where I haven't been following the global situation the last few days just to kind of, I guess, take my mind off it a bit because it's basically all you hear about. But if it's anything like I would imagine, I honestly don't think, it's not that I don't want there to be one, obviously, but I don't see any events happening anytime within like the next 6 months, because especially how they're going on with this could be a multiple wave sort of thing, and how it could like peak again or whatnot. It seems like traveling is probably going to be one of the last sort of staples of, I guess you could say, everyday life that's going to be back to normal. So I'm sure first it'll be the most important things, like, you know, just I guess any sort of like stores and stuff that are more crucial. And since World Tours is just based on a whole bunch of people from all over the world traveling to a single destination, I don't think it's going to be viable anytime soon. So maybe there'll be some sort of online championship replacement. If not, then all these stages may not count for something that's until maybe start of 2021, end of 2020. Maybe there'll be a world final if we're lucky. But then at that point, you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm here because of something I did a year ago.
Weird,
So it's like, you'd be... Honestly, I have no idea, but my guess would be that maybe the world final would happen if it clears up, but I'm
gotta
not
buy a
getting
lot
my
of...
hopes up.
They'll have everyone in red hazmat suits, just racing next to each other, maybe 6 feet apart.
Maybe the Puma branded suit.
Puma branded hazmat suit, yes.
Oh my god. The mask, you just have a mask with with the leaper on it. That would be a pretty good promotion, at least. Take advantage, I guess.
Yeah. Start practicing with your hazmat suits now. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking is, if it is online only, they have a pretty cool opportunity to kind of play with the format. In Formula One, they talked about, you know, they might have races behind, you know, closed doors, and they may use it as an opportunity to change some stuff up, have a couple races in the same week, have different qualifying rules, have, you know, reverse grid races, who knows. But in speaking in terms of GT, I think they could do maybe some actual endurance races. How sick would that be, right? It's an opportunity to shake stuff up, and like we're so like sometimes we tend to forget how boxed in we are to a certain type of racing. Like, we're sprint racers, like to a really claustrophobic degree. That's all we do, you know?
Oh yeah. And you got to step out and do like one of those like they had that the Euromasters 24 lately, which was one of those stint races where every 2 hours you switch drivers, and it kind of gives you a new perspective on the game than what you're used to. And just any 24-hour race in general, like maybe that one wasn't the most perfectly handled event, as others would say, but at the same time, it's still a new experience where you're not going to get in the FIA necessarily, just because a race like that long probably just wouldn't be suitable with the point structure and all that.
Yeah.
We're not able to make it.
My team is literally like made like events such as the 24 hours for Anna, which was an event for like charity. So I think something like that that can coincide with like FIA.
Yeah, because like, if you go to the FIA Twitter, they have a race for the virus or race for the cure or something like that. I guess you want to race for the virus. That would be pretty weird.
Yeah.
No, it says race for the cure. I forget what it said, but yeah. They're about it. So you never know. They could tie in to GT.
The only question is that how are they gonna like implement that into like FIA, and how they're gonna implement that into the all-on season, because it's not as easy as just like going in and just like putting the actual format. It needs like months, at least 2 or 3 months of testing. I think that PD in this time should be like considering doing that. Or what they could do is probably provide like prize. I think I've heard like a few people like talk about this, but maybe considering like the coronavirus is not gonna like let up soon, they've been thinking about offering a whole ton of drivers like prize money. Maybe this season.
Oh, why
That's what
not?
I've
Yeah, they're
heard.
saving on. If you're saving money on the trips, right? Just hook it up with that green energy.
Yeah, and I think that would be the perfect time to provide drivers with like like the top drivers, obviously, but
Like me, yes. You didn't have to
yeah,
say it.
no, like no, like I
Yeah.
think
Just kidding.
it's like yeah, I mean, obviously, if you do well in the championship, you should get a reward for something like that. It
For
shouldn't
sure.
just be I just go to Tokyo just for a watch and a trophy, which reality is most people on this game aren't gonna like have that like reality
Yeah.
anytime soon. But and that's why I kind of participate in private leagues too, because they offer like prizes. I know IGTL does. I know a few other leagues do the same.
Yeah, dude, you're awesome in
So
leagues.
it's
Every time I see you're in a league, I'm like, that's gonna be tough.
yeah, it's well, most leagues. I wouldn't say all leagues are like extremely tough, but they do provide like a competition, and that's something that I think people should partake in if they essentially want to get like better at the game. I mean, that's how I like basically am here today. If I didn't participate in league races, then I probably wouldn't
Oh,
be
they're
here
awesome
because
training.
yes, you
Um,
always have to train with the best.
like that's Nick McMillan, I think. I don't know for sure the story, but it's
Yeah,
from
he's in the same league I'm from.
Snail.
Uh huh.
Yeah, dude. A Sunday night. Sunday
Interactive
night.
league.
It, huh?
Sunday night American Interactive League.
American. Yeah. Super well organized league from GT Planet. So much racing. They used to have they had a crazy marketplace system they came up with, dude. Like it was
They
crazy.
did.
And Nick McMillan just raced his ass off. It was because I remember he was in 2012 GT Academy regional finals, and we like it was they had these races where it was like four. They only had the four sleds, so it was like a group of 32 drivers split into groups of four, and we all just kind of raced random people. And he was in there, and I felt like he got really disappointed that he didn't make it to the finals, even though he had a lot of good speed. But after that, he just got so fast. And leagues really do make a difference. They constantly change up their, you're throwing all kinds of different weird settings and different cars to run in, so you're always on your toes. And yeah, I recommend leagues to anyone trying to get better.
Snail has downsized a lot since those days. They used to have 9 divisions or almost 10 divisions.
Yeah.
That was like over 150 drivers, and now it's down to 3. But they still keep it going. They've changed the format a little bit. There's like no qualifying.
Yeah, that's
It's based
fun.
on the points to start now, so they save more time, more racing.
And congrats to you, Cooper, for being like one of the first North American TX3 drivers. That's a really big deal. Those guys are serious
yeah,
Frenchies.
those guys are like ridiculous. They're like ridiculously good. I
Yeah.
know.
Go ahead.
Also, like Ant and
Yeah,
Randy,
Ant and Randy Randall.
two drivers that have like, won World Tours. So I'm glad that I'm like on a team with them because I think like as long as I train with them, I think I'll like get better at this game than
Hell
I
yeah.
already am. So
Yeah, looking forward to you getting to an event and doing the thing. It's gonna be awesome to see you there.
yeah.
And what was the other topic? Yeah. Oh, so somebody mentioned something on Twitter I thought was interesting. Will players not take this season as seriously? Say, if it ends up being that there aren't going to be trips, like will some drivers say, I'm not going to try as hard? What's your kind of take on that? Whoever wants to take it.
Well, I'll say this: I think the reality is there won't be any trips for like any like world tours. Maybe there might be one in the summer, but that really depends on like the situation that happens. But like even then, like we're almost in like June and July, and this thing is like not even peaked yet. Like the whole virus hasn't like peaked in terms of like its um in terms of its like infection rate and death rate. It hasn't even like peaked at all. So
Hmm.
it's like if they were to have like a world tour, it's like how are PD going to like how are PD going to award the drivers for one, and then two, they have to figure out how they're going to um send them the rewards as well, and then they also have to figure out if they want to develop like some online championship or some like some world tour ish like settings for those drivers to like partake in, and from like at home basically. So it's like I don't know. It's gonna. I don't think there'll be any world tours this year because I mean everyone needs to stay safe because this virus is nothing to play around with.
Mm.
Um, but I think for those drivers who are saying that they're not going to take it seriously, it's like I mean that's up to you. Like FIA is not supposed to. The whole purpose of FIA wasn't to be taken seriously from the start. Like it was just something that people can actively like participate in and to like try and get better at the game. And what people got to realize that the PS5 is coming out in what December of 2020, I think,
Mhm. Something
along
like
with
that.
GT. Yeah, along with GT5 is or not GT5, GT7 as a launch title as well.
Maybe. I don't know.
So it's like it's all of that being offered. So to those drivers, do you just like wait for GT7 to come out and just play something else? I mean, because there's a whole ton of like other like FIA ish or like games that are arguably better than GT Sport at the moment.
Well, and then you
Um,
have Assetto Corsa Competizione coming out
yeah, and then you
on the
have that, and
PS4.
then yeah, and then you also have Dirt 2.0, which I've been thinking about following. I mean, like I've been really thinking about like participating in that esport.
Dude, that's a fun ass game right there. That is a fun
Yeah,
ass
that
game.
game is like ridiculously fun.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, to the drivers who just like who don't want to take it seriously, I mean, again, there's league racing. Like league racing is always a backup to FIA. If you don't wanna do a round, if you don't wanna actively partake in FIA, I mean, like don't do it. Just like
yeah.
do league racing.
Yeah, it's like people that like stop eating meat and just always tell everyone that they don't eat meat. It's like we get it. We don't
Like
like the FIA.
yeah, and that's one of the things that I don't like about the community, especially in the um I don't mean to be like offensive, but like it primarily comes from people in the like the EMEA region who typically have this type of mindset. It's like, you know, you don't care about FIA and that's fine. If you don't care, I can't make you care about it. Like PD can make you care about it. But the problem is that you can't sit there and just like continuously like slate the game, slate FIA, like, and then just not, you know, like, quit the game or just like do something else on the game. It's or just play something else. Basically, it's
Yeah,
not
pretty much.
it's not even rocket science at all. It's like I understand that people want this game to be great, but at the end of the day, like most of the decisions that PD are going to make, they're not going to please everyone. I even knew this from the start when I first started playing GT Sport. Like, I knew like the format of FIA wasn't going to be perfect, and that's totally fine that it's not 100% perfect because it can be improved for the next game because they're in this prologue. So it's like to those drivers out there, I mean, it's like you don't have to play this game. It's not like PD are demanding you to do every single slot of FIA. You know?
Yeah. Some people really can't help themselves either, which is kind of strange. At least, I mean, I have fun with it. I guess I don't grind it as much as most, so I can kind of, when I take it in at the pace that I do, it's still fun, and I can still find new things to do and such. But I can see how some people are just, yeah, they're just kind of done. They're burnt out, but they don't need to tell everyone about it all the time.
Yeah,
So,
it's like it gets old. It gets old and repetitive, and like I mean, I'm just at the point where it's just like I get it. I understand that you don't like the game. That's totally fine. Like I can't sit there and make you like the game at all again.
And it's not like you're taking the balanced opposite approach. It's not like you're blindly saying, "Oh, GT Sport's great. You should just shut up because it's awesome." You're just saying, like, I understand it has problems, but I still play it because I like the community. I like the game itself at the core, and I don't need to, you know, I don't need for it to be something that it cannot be. So.
Yeah, they pioneered a lot of stuff with this game, like the BOP, the way it's set up, and the way the races are set up, the point system.
No.
This stuff didn't really exist before they took a shot at it. So I give them credit, even though a lot of people don't look at it that way. They expect a lot.
Yeah, it really popularized the whole BOP term and idea. Before, I remember in GT5 we did league races. We all had our own custom BOPs, and we would get mad at other leagues for using them. Like,
Yeah.
you used our BOP without permission, bro. You're supposed to at least give us credit. And it's like, it's so
There's
looking back, it's so dumb.
there's a lot of games that really just don't have a good BOP system. Like for example, I came from Project Cars. Like Project Cars had one of the worst BOPs I've ever tested.
So everyone
out.
kind of just used a meta car.
Yeah, it was everyone. The meta car in that game was the Ferrari 488, I believe. And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
next,
Fantastic car. Way
Yeah.
overpowered.
yeah, but like everyone like was using that car, and it was just like no other car was like competitive in the slightest. It's like if you use the even the AMG in that game wasn't really that competitive. The only car that could like actually beat the Ferrari at some tracks was the Audi in that game, and even then it would only be like by a slim margin, you know. So like when I look at this game's BOP, yes, it can be improved, but let's be real, every game doesn't have a perfect BOP. You know, like Assetto Corsa doesn't have a perfect BOP. iRacing doesn't have a perfect BOP because obviously the AMG in that game is OP as well. So it's like you kind of just have to accept the fact that like BOPs are never supposed to be perfect, and they're not perfect in real life either. So
Dude, in real life, it's crazy. I mean, they have more tools at their, you know, service in order to balance out cars. Typically, they use a lot of air restriction to kind of try to level the power out, but it's difficult. Like you have in Super GT, for example, even though that's kind of a weird example, they had for the longest time they didn't allow MR cars. It's like, yeah, we understand how difficult it would be to try to balance out an MR car in our series, so they had really tight restrictions on where you could have stuff. But then the NSX kind of Honda just came and they were like, let us do an MR, and they just did it, and they figured out a way around it. But they only have so many machines in that category. But then you have like Le Mans, the way that they do BOP there, like the ACO, it's a black art, and there's still not really much info. It's mostly a speculation as far as what really goes on. They have like these Stig, you know, like Top Gear kind of Stig style drivers that kind of take the reins. And a lot of the time they'll be like retired Le Mans drivers, and they try to put in their 2 cents. But then you have stuff like the 4GT happening where they sandbag and then they work the system, they game it, and they know how to play that whole aspect of things. So there's drama everywhere. It's just that's how racing is, and when you have different machines trying to race on the same race.
And BOP too is like, it's one of those subjects that you think, oh, it's so easy, just make all the cars like, you know, equal, like pick a couple tracks and make it. The thing that where it makes it so difficult too is like, I think this is one of the things where I preferred of the 2018 season, where every Group 3 round in manufacturer specifically was like 9 times tire, I believe, and like 5 times fuel, 4 times fuel, something like that. So the BOP could be crafted to fit that specific set of multipliers, because the performance of the cars is one thing on one lap pace and time trial, but then a lot of the discrepancies in the cars only occur once you're racing them, and then their new strengths and weaknesses show. So it's like if you have, like I was driving earlier, the Ford GT, you're like, wow, this car's amazing. And then the second you bring it into a race and you see the rear tires and the fuel consumption, you're like, okay, well, now it sucks. It's like, well, I wouldn't say it sucks, but it's definitely not anywhere near what it is in time trial. So BOP, it's like 3-dimensional where, you know, where do you I guess, draw the line between like balancing the cars for like time trial, like how fast they are on like one lap versus like their race pace, and then the fact that this season there's so many different multipliers. Like you've got 6 times, and like 2 times, 3 times. So it the strengths of the cars, depending on what car you're in, will only shine through on like a specific combination, or there might be one combination that just brings out your car's weakness, and so the that's where the BOP is really difficult to balance, right? It's just when there's so many different like sets of conditions, and that's why like
there's so many factors to like an actual like car as well. Like you gotta consider that all cars don't have like the same engine, so it, obviously like the fuel consumption won't be the same. You know, like for example, like the BMW has what a V. Was it a V8 or a V6 engine?
I believe it's a V6. I'm not too
it's a
sure.
twin turbo V6
Yeah,
or something like that.
Twin turbo V6 engine.
I thought it was a V8 for a minute.
Actually, no, I think it might be a V8. It is a. I can't remember. I think
small
it's
V8s, yeah, small block.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
Turbo, so if it is, it'll be a really small block.
Yeah, and it's twin turbo, and obviously that car is like, well, surprisingly on this update, it's actually good on fuel. I don't know why, but
It'll more be because there's more rear grip. You're not spinning the tires up as more, so you're not having higher revs per like corner exit like you were before. So maybe it's a bit nicer.
Could be partially that. The issue is still
V6 is a
persistent even
V8.
on high-speed tracks, though. So it's like, it's like this arbitrary fuel consumption number where like some cars just have it worse than others, like just by its genes, essentially, if you will. It's like there's like previous update, no matter what you did, the M6 would always just suck on fuel, like even if you drove it like a pansy, right?
It would just be nice to maybe go somewhere near full revs in a race.
Yeah. Which you might be able to do now, according to the latest tests.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what I like is those combos where it's like lower, it's like maybe ×4 tire wear, and it's like only racing hards. I can really get it. I like that combo personally. I've always raced, like most of my time in GT5 was all on racing hard tires, so I just feel that the cars feel a little more challenging and fun in that spec. Like I think a top list for this last exhibition series that we had, it was racing hards with lower tire wear, and that was pretty cool. I didn't participate, but I liked watching, seeing how it seemed like more cars were viable in that one.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I forgot to mention too, is like the actual compound itself is also a variable with the DOP. Like, if you look at the same track on GR3, Interlagos, for example, I'm pretty sure on Racing Hard you'll see cars like the R8 up there, but then as soon as you go to softs or mediums, it's the Atenza. So it's like different cars benefit a different delta depending on the tire you put on, just because like a car that struggles with like grip in the rear will benefit more from having the grippier compound. And now that's another thing with this update where it's like maybe that'll be affected. So cars that I guess had a grip issue before maybe will be better on the hard tires now, and it's like this is all the kind of stuff that you have to test, and we have such a short time frame to test it too, right? So a lot of this will just be taking a shot in the dark with the BOP and the new physics and whatnot.
Yeah. So how was your exhibition season there? So I'll go through everyone, but Cooper, starting with yourself.
God awful. I don't.
Shit.
Time.
Well, for the first, I actually will look at my scores for that season, but that was like one of the worst seasons I probably ever had, because like for one, I wasn't scoring well in the rounds where the Subaru was decent at. I know it wasn't the strongest of cars, but at the end of the day, it's like the first two rounds like were so unlucky for me, because round one had the stupid penalty system, and obviously like the points were like ridiculous as well, and that's why I just didn't bother going again after like the first slot, because I was just like so mad. And then the second race I got 6th in the first slot, and I win again, and I screwed up my qualifying and came back finished 10th, and then I win again, and then I got punted off the road.
Jeez.
and I like finished like 12th or like 13th or something like that. And then the next round, I believe, was the wet race,
Yeah,
and the
Red Bull.
Subaru wasn't. Yeah, and the Subaru wasn't really like that good around there, but I was somehow making it work against some MR cars.
Yeah, dude.
Um, and then the fourth round, what was the fourth round again?
It's
Let me
Group
Willow
get back.
4.
Springs.
I think it was.
Oh, Willow Springs. So
Yeah.
Willow Springs, I qualified pole. I had a 15.9, I believe, and I screwed up. I took too much fuel when I went on to finish at fifth, and I just didn't bother going again because the points were just gone. So my highest points out of the first 5 rounds was a 286, and that was at where did I get that at? Round 5. Round 5 was at that was at Autopolis, and I believe the Subaru was good, and I think I could have gone again because I think I could have had like some good point scores. I could have had a good point score for that round, so I should have went again. And then round 6 was Monza, and I got bullied by the slipstream. So then round 7, I knew what I was doing, and I wound up scoring 318. And then round 9 should have been 300 points, and that would have put me like in the top 16. But I basically went off on the last or the third quarter on the second to last lap, and that was it. And then round 10, I don't even want to talk about. So
Me
that was
either.
just too set up.
Neither do I.
It
So
sucked.
overall, that season, that was probably one of the worst like FIA seasons I've ever had. To be honest, like I can't even. I don't know. I didn't practice enough for the races. I wasn't focused, and then when I was focused, the combo was garbage. So
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel like my first half of the season was pretty good. I was still really awkward when it came to driving the RS01 because I picked Renault, and it was my first time really even trying to use that car. The Group 4, obviously the Megane trophy is amazing. Super lightweight, shouldn't even be in Group 4. But, you know, I did what I could with it, and I ended up getting my first 40 ever, which is really fun, over at Willow Springs, Big Willow, and had a good race with Andrew on that one. Only
Maybe
reason
next time.
only
Oh
reason
man,
I got to race with you is because you had a Jaguar and I had a Renault. But
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst
yeah, that's still
for that track.
yeah, qualifying on that race, it was tough. I didn't like being behind another car in the Renault as far as trying to get the slip, so I would try to go off on my own as much as I could. I think I only really used the slips successfully like 3 times. One of them was at Suzuka. Otherwise, I would always get it. You know, people would mess up that were ahead of me and kind of slow down. So I wouldn't always be the biggest benefactor from that. So, but the RS01, man, that car is tough. I didn't realize how bad it was on power. I knew it was like a little bit high downforce or whatever, or a lot.
Oh
But,
yeah, it doesn't move.
oh, it's terrible, dude. That's really
It's
bad.
literally stationary.
And the top 16 race was just so disappointing because I took my time trying to figure out that chicane, and no matter how many times I drilled it, I still, even when the pressure was on, it made me realize that I still need to work on some mental aspects of my game. But when the pressure was on, if someone was behind me, I would tend to hit that shit wrong and spin out. But in qualifying and practice, I'd be cool. So it was just kind of getting psyched out about having people around me trying to take the corner chicane a little too fast, you know what I mean? So overall, it was a good learning experience or whatever. Not sure I'd stay with Renault because I really just don't like the low power and having to really rely on a few rounds of Group 4. I'm not the biggest fan of Group 4 races in general anyway, so I'd rather have a better Group 3 car to mess around with. but still fun. It was kind of interesting because I put a lot of pressure on myself to try to beat Dino because we're both in Vegas, and I was like, I can't let him be the fastest fucking Vegas driver. But
Oh,
yeah, still ended up kind of happening. But it was my fault. I just needed like one more good race in order to bring my score up to like. I just needed one more like 305 point score to be the #1 driver, but I couldn't make Dragon Trail Gardens work because of another chicane, and I couldn't really make the 9th round, which was Laguna Seca. No, yes, I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Laguna. Man, I love Laguna. It was the first time I actually hit that one really hard since my like GT6 or whatever days. Track is amazing, but one thing I'll disclose here that happened for my qualifying at Laguna was I was going around doing the old fuel burn. Remember those days? And I had to put my in because the Renault is really good on tires. It's one of its things. So I threw my brake bias all the way to the back, or sorry, all the way to the front. I think, yeah, +5. And I was just rolling around, holding the brake, holding the gas, burning off fuel, and then I went out for my hot lap, but I forgot to set my brake bias back to 0. So when I got through the lap fine, once I got to the top of the hill and the corkscrew hit the brakes, and I just went sideways. So, and I was on a really good lap, so I potentially could have been like top 5 for that first slot top split race, and I may have gotten like a second place podium. It would have been like 310 or 15 points. I forgot what it was, and I would have been good. But anyway, it's enough moping from me. Infinity, how was your exhibition race?
Um,
Yeah. For sure, the first official season of the year. It's going to be pretty exciting. We're going to see some really try-hard people trying to do their thing. But
yeah, I think I never played in 2018 when the BOP was like the best it'd been, or when the conditions were the best. So for me, this is probably the most promising season yet.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be. I'm glad it's only 30 races. 40 always seems like just so much. 30 kind of seems a little more doable, manageable, but less chances at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
And Cardsfan, how was? I saw you got in the top 16. That was pretty awesome. I was glad to see you there.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the top 16 race.
Dude, I tried to do a reverse strategy. We were kind of hanging in the back together because I think I messed up qualifying. So, but I tried to do a reverse strat and it still like didn't really. I thought I could gain a good number of places, but I really only gained 2. So, yeah, not gonna be a good broadcast for me. Huh.
Yeah, other than Red Bull Ring and Monza, I think this season was probably laughable. Like,
oh
really
yeah,
laughable.
Oh yeah, Monza of course in the GT is gonna be awesome, huh?
No, I'm talking about for the exhibition season.
Oh, it'd be your
when I was
personal
with Ford.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the GT was good at Monza though, right?
It was the
Good
Ford race.
Good right. The Mustango.
Yeah, the only problem with it was the fuel consumption.
Yeah, had a little hole in its tank there.
Yeah, which didn't even help out.
Nah. Cool. So we can kind of wrap it up by seeing how much of our poker hand anyone's willing to show or lift up. So does anyone want to drop any hints as to what they're looking at in terms of manufacturers for the official season? Starting with Deafsun.
I don't know yet.
Peugeot.
I literally don't
Peugeot.
know. No. Dacia is a pretty good manufacturer. That Group 3 Sandero is pretty strong. No. I actually have no idea. There's a
The Group 3
few
Honda
auto, like,
Odyssey.
well, speaking of Honda, the Honda's pretty good, Citroen's pretty good, Jag possibly still. I thought Ford at one point, but then I didn't like the Group 3 as much as I thought I would. Like, it's one of those things. Like, this update came out less than 24 hours ago, and only
I
have
know.
scratched the surface in terms of like trying everything out. And I definitely plan on doing some more tomorrow evening. But I feel like it's one of those things where it kind of does feel like it'll be a bit of a shot in the dark because there's probably going to be something that we learn about the car about one of the rounds that we didn't know about or didn't have time to test or, you know. So I don't know. Definitely one of those ones probably. Probably Citroen, Jag, Ferrari maybe.
Well,
There's
that's
definitely a few more that I'm probably forgetting, but they're all in consideration.
I think I'm just gonna skip the first round just to give myself. I'm gonna buy myself a little more time, you know. And I know. I mean, it's kind of there are a lot of people are gonna do the first round, and it'll be a lot of good points. So, but
Yeah.
I think it's just people are gonna pick weird menus, and I gotta just make sure I protect myself against that unexpected choices and such. And
It's worth considering too that I think there's the Superstars round 3. So
oh yeah,
I don't know how the qualification for Superstars works, but if
I
you
forgot
skip
about
round
that.
1, then you definitely want to make sure you do round 2 in order to qualify for that. Because I don't know how it works, like if it's DR based or if it's based on whatever the points are up to that point. But if you don't have any rounds in by round 3, I'm not sure how that would work for making it to the Superstars race, which doesn't matter for like global points perspective, but it matters if you end up having to challenge someone in this region and then they get it and you don't, right? So
Yeah, because
it's worth thinking about.
the point score is going to be the multiplier will probably be substantial.
I think it's just what plus 50. Is that what it was, Cooper? Like it was like a base
It
points, I
base
think.
50 points. So
Yeah, so there's no
basically,
multiplier. Just throws on an extra 50, I think, for all the superstar
yeah,
races.
so
Is
like
what they're doing.
it's like every Superstars race is probably going to be the 40, basically.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I
which is what
gotcha.
it should be, but it's more, I guess, of a assuring 40, and it'll be helpful, I guess, with the issue in EMEA where they're having 7 slots at the very least with those 3 superstars races per season or per stage, I should say. If you go in the superstars, it's very likely going to be 40. So at least there's some sort of solace there.
For sure. Personally, I'm still looking at Renault. I keep trying the RS01 and I'm like really not liking it. Like I told others before, I feel like I really need a Group 3 car that's decent in order to stay kind of engaged throughout the season. Because if these Group 3 races keep just being sad or I avoid them, it's not going to be good for me. So I'm looking really at everything. I mean, anything that's a FR, I'm probably going to be considering if it's decent. Corvette has always kind of been in the back of my mind because I just love that car. I just wish it was a little more. I mean, yeah, just wish it was a tiny bit better. But I still see, I see guys that are inspiring to me, like Force. What was his name?
Force URB.
Iwerby, yeah. He kicked. Yeah, he was Chevy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he fought Josete for top 16 over there, I think. Unless yeah, that was quite a thing. So people like that make me think, yeah, Chevy can do some stuff if you put 1,000,000 hours into it. But yeah, at the same time though, Chevy didn't make it into the top 12, so there's always that aspect to look at. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is like the type of stage or type of season or the type of season where you're gonna have like probably most of your Group 4 races will matter more than your Group 3 ones, I think, because you need, as much as you need a good Group 3, you also need a more competitive Group 4 unless like your car is already like qualified, which is for one is already Mazda. So I don't know, like I think this season is more going to be Group 4 based than Group 3 based. I think that's where all the points are going to come from. Especially for the types of manufacturers that I'm thinking about choosing for the official.
Yeah, like which ones?
Uh, I don't know. I've been thinking about Ford, Alpha, Volkswagen, Mitsubishi, Corvette, the whole ton. Um, the thing is with Ford and Alpha is that you would have to outscore people in other regions, and the problem with Alpha is that like you have to like be on it every single round, and that's something last year that basically cost me like a World Tour spot. I think, or a World Tour, yeah, potentially a World Tour spot because of that. Like if I had just put in that extra bit of effort into the races that I should have won, then I probably would have gone to a World Tour with Toyota last year. But
Yeah, man.
the problem is that with Alpha, it's literally the same thing. Considering that people are flocking to it, and Oceania, obviously Asia, are gonna have a much, I would say, easier time um, to get those points for Alpha, and then obviously the third spot would literally be a battle between EMEA, which is a hardest region, but for the 4C, I think people should be like, I think any 4C driver, any driver can get in the 4C and literally dominate in it. And then I also see um, Central South America as well. I don't know if there's any South American that's going to drive Alpha for official. So
Right.
I I don't know about that. I don't know about Alpha at all.
Yeah, it's weird.
Ford is Yeah, Ford is pretty decent. I feel haven't driven the GT yet, but I think it's got worse on tires, and I want a car that I can like, I don't know. I'll have to probably get used to it if I do choose Ford, and it'll probably take me a while to get used to. Um, well, I've also been thinking about Volkswagen because I like the Beetle. The Beetle's good on tires and good on fuel, and the Scirocco is meh, pretty meh, honestly. And then I've been thinking about Mitsubishi because the Group 3 is, although it's not really the fastest, obviously not the fastest down the straight, but the Group 3 is very good on tires, but it struggles on fuel. And the Group 4, I think, has the same problem. But both cars are arguably better than the Subaru, apparently, in those aspects.
Well,
Um,
the Group 3 is really kick ass at NERB, right? Nürburgring GP.
yeah, like NERV GP or a combo like Sardinia B,
Yeah.
like the that car would literally like shred through the field. You know,
By the
it's
way, where the hell is St. Croix? They like stopped using it for some reason. It's not on the schedule
Especially
at
A
all.
and C.
Yeah, I love
yeah.
that track now.
They've never used like C, like
Yeah. A they've
C.
used like a couple times, but C is just like not
I mean,
anywhere.
I think C is like really unbalanced, to be honest, because I think I think it just favors power cars more. In fact, let me look at C real quick.
Yeah, because going through
Yeah,
the
C is like a what, like almost a 4 minute track for Group 3 cars.
Yeah,
right.
St. Croix has GTR written all over it.
Yeah, GTR, Supra,
Ford GT, McLaren
Ford
F1,
GT, yeah,
Lambo.
even Lambo,
maybe.
AMG, what other cars? Aston, even like
Yeah.
that car. That track is so unbalanced for like many cars, to
Yeah,
be
Pug
honest.
VGT too, I guess, if there's anyone.
Yeah, the Pug would be good there too.
So quickly rifling through the schedule for the first stage of the official season, we have Suzuka Group 4, Red Bull Ring Group 3 for round 2, and then we're in Dragon Trail Seaside Group 3, Laguna Seca Group 4, Then round 5 is Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop for Group 4. And then Circuit de la Sarthe Group 3. Then Sardinia B for Group 3. Then round 8 is Group 4 Fuji Short. Round 9 is Maggiore Group 4. And then the round 10, top 16, will be Interlagos Group 3. So Mazda, hello, win for them.
Good set of combos. Really, I think one of the stronger sets they've had.
Yeah, pretty balanced, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but there are some weird, like, I don't know, for some reason, it just kind of reminds me of a reshuffle of the exhibition race last season.
Yeah, I think round 2 was the same as round 1 this season, isn't it?
Pretty
I
much.
don't remember which round it is, but I know that Laguna is literally. I'm pretty sure it's literally the same race.
Yeah, but this time we
Except
actually
they just
have
got rid
to,
of the penalty thing. Yeah,
we have to do
yeah. Use our pro
so.
strats.
Absolutely legitimate and not cheating strats.
Those are my favorite Twitter feuds in the GT community.
Oh my god.
I didn't even want to get into that race, honestly. Because that was a mess.
That was a thing. We'll put it that way.
I'm glad I gave that one a miss.
Yeah, hard pass on that race.
What race?
It's a Laguna.
Laguna.
Where everybody took the penalty.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't do that race.
It's so sad, but I'm really not looking forward to Sarthe anymore. I used to love that track, man.
I think Sarthe is a fuel saver as well, so it's like
No, it's not. Fuel
I think it might be times 2. Yeah.
Oh, it's times 2.
Surprisingly, it isn't.
Yeah, and the only tire requirement is racing hard, so I think you can no stop on those tires.
Yeah.
Pretty likely, yeah.
That helped the handling cars out in the Porsche curves.
Handling cars will still be bad there, I think, because like even because the draft is basically gone, so like all those cars literally don't have a chance. Any handling car is like basically neutered at the track. It will always be like a car that has considerable amount of like straight line speed down the straights and through the corners that will like succeed that track. So Supra basically.
I'm just glad we don't have to do gardens. I welcome Seaside with open arms that are bruised from the chicane.
Seaside has its own special chicane.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather go through that one. Speedy chicanes, I'm into.
The
Give me a
flat
bus
out
stop.
chicane.
Give me
I'm
a
not a
bus
fan of
stop.
Gardens chicane.
I'm not a fan of gardens in general, I'll be honest. I
it's
think
sad
it's
'cause
probably one of the weaker tracks that they made.
No, I like Gardens actually.
Yeah, I
don't
like
know.
everything about gardens except the chicane. But there was one moment. Remember when they had championship limits and you had to
Yes.
take that thing like a sane human
Oh
being?
my god, no.
Oh
Jesus.
yeah, tiptoeing through there.
It was horrible.
I remember championship limits like
In
that-
general,
that-
championship limits were kind of crazy, but certain tracks they really did well with, like Nurb GP, pretty cool. No one took the chicane like an asshole anymore.
Interlagos was terrible for those.
The
limits, 'cause,
Interlagos is already
Ooh, yeah.
bad, but with championship
Like,
limits,
especially
wow.
around turn 4.
like around
Turn
Interlagos, you used to get like what 3-second penalties for like putting one wheel over like
Oh my god.
over the white line. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Everyone was sweating it for those races. That was an interesting time.
I don't think I was in top split at that point.
That one Interlagos race from 2018 is. We were literally talking about that a couple days ago. That was like one of the most memorable races, I think, that in this region at least. Back
Right.
when, I think that was like the last one before the Vegas happened. But oh my god, it's amazing when you look back and see the cars that people are using, and like the Dodge was like one of the best cars. Like,
Yeah, the Viper, yeah.
how things just changed so much.
The Viper was always really good at Suzuka, man, too.
Yeah, I remember using that in like daily like C when I was like still like getting the grips of the game. Like in 2018, and the Viper on it like was unironically like my favorite car by like a long shot for like every track, Interlagos, Suzuka. It just, but now it's you wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, people have said in the update it's a little better, but I haven't gotten the chance to drive it yet. But it's just crazy how the BOP like cars just suddenly think they're good. Oh, now they're useless. Oh, now they're good again. Kind of
Yeah,
funny,
I think we'll
especially-
test out the majority of the FR cars tomorrow.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yep, plenty of testing.
I think all the FRs like feel the same. To be honest,
They're pretty similar, yeah.
I don't know.
I
if it
think
may-
the only dramatic change is that the 17 Lex is now better than the 16.
Again,
Oh no, it hasn't been that way at all. Like that's actually new. They actually made a car that's more relevant better than the one that shouldn't be relevant.
oh,
Yeah, I maintain that. Well, didn't you mention that the FT1 was better?
yes.
Well, yeah, it got kind of better. I mean,
Yeah, I
'cause
think a
was-
lot of
I
them
was-
kind of got better. I think the Corvette, to me, doesn't feel much improved at all compared to what I remember. I remember the Jag, to me, feels... The Group 3 Jag does feel better, especially on turn-in. Like,
It's
through the
lovely.
slow stuff. Through the slow stuff, it's improved. The diff just feels more like it's doing its thing. And before it was just like kind of like just a blank feeling, or
Yeah.
like a numb feeling going into slow corners.
You could
or
feel
turn-in.
the car pushing through like fast corners, and now it's a lot more like it's not hugely faster than it used to be, but it just feels all that much better, which can do wonders.
Yeah, I still felt, an unwelcome little bit of the same kind of pushy feeling in Catalunya, turn 3.
Yeah.
But the big test for me would be Seaside going through the S's. That was
Oh,
always
yeah.
like that was a game turning off. Like when I went through there in that car in the official season last year, I was like,
I think it'll still be
this-
pretty unideal, but it should be better than that. Something about that one handling update from like 6 months ago, whenever it was.
Oh right.
It must have helped this car a little bit in terms of the feeling. So it still won't keep up with say an Audi R8 obviously through there, but it'll still be pretty serviceable, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah, and a last tip before we sign off. I wanted to tell everyone that if you've been banging your head against the wall trying to do these Lewis Hamilton challenge laps, fear no more. Go back at it, try it again, and you may find yourself achieving those diamond level times much easier. So I heard it on the Twitter, so don't take my word for it. I'm not telling you it's guaranteed, but it should be a little easier for you. Go ahead and go try it. Make that money.
I just haven't beat it yet. It'll be good news for me if I need the money. I didn't put the time in. Did a couple one and done runs on them. Got silvers. Left it alone.
I did Willow Springs, and then I was like, I don't want to do the rest.
Sad too. Somebody bought it for me. Somebody like reached out and was like, "I want you to have it. Like you should be playing this." So he gave me a PSN gift card to get it. I was like, "Wow, okay."
I think as soon as I got the diamonds, I just said screw it, and that's it. I'm not going to try to get like every single world record or anything.
Nah. But it's a cool little thing. I was surprised it was like paid DLC, but whatever. Everything's been free, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about how much it costs to get Lewis Hamilton to put his name on something.
True. I
Yeah,
didn't think about
it's
that
like-
angle.
That's got to be a lot of money, and that means they're probably going to have to get a lot of money from us to
Right.
pay him to hashtag blessed all the DLC.
Well, it always gave me a warm fuzzy feeling because I watch a lot of F1, and every time I'd see his hat from the left side, I'm like, hell yeah, Gran Turismo on the podium.
I'd say one thing. I'm impressed. I'm
Yeah.
impressed at that DLC. That's definitely getting cut. That wasn't a good joke at all.
You said I'm impressed. I'm blessed.
I'm impressed. Wow, that was a good lap. I'm impressed.
Oh
just
yes, I just realized what happened. No, you're good. I'm just done. It's a little late. I'm
Don't give up.
Slow.
Keep trying. That's what he usually says.
So thanks everyone
get
for
it?
joining. Appreciate it. We'll go out with a bang. let's talk again soon. This is fun. I appreciate the group, and yeah, these long live stream kind of shows are always more casual, laid back, and fun. So I hope everyone takes care and get to testing, and we'll see what everyone does in a week or so. See where we come out as far as what our picks are, and I hope you all get some good ones. So yeah, it's good to have you guys on. Take care and have a wonderful tonight or tomorrow or whatever, wherever you are. All right, so we'll just keep going for the live stream, but that was the end of the podcast, I think. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining. I'll leave you to your nights or your mornings. Oh, and there's Duffy.
There we go. That's better.
Good time to join just as everything's finished.
Yeah,
I didn't want to mention the lobby during your podcast, but did you see I beat Stagger's time while we were doing that?
Staggers
took his best lap. He had a best lap on track here. Yeah, I ran a 2:07.1, and his was a 2.
Oh shit! So
nice.
But I'm on motion steering, which like blows me away. Like I have brake pedal problems right now, Wardez, and I can't use my wheel or my pedal set. I ordered a replacement part, but I'm getting super adapted to DS4.
I love that motion steering, dude. I've been a big proponent of it ever since the game launched. I actually used it in beta, and I told everyone, like, it's awesome. I always had a wheel, so I didn't have to use it. But
yeah.
I kept trying to tell people, like, use motion steering, bro.
It's a lot of fun. I think it's more fun than the wheel, almost, because like, I'm just like, it's like imagination, like, getting me through the lap here.
Right.
No feedback. And Lamb hates it. He hates it with a passion.
Imagination.
With motion controls.
I was like hugging your bumper for like 3 or 4 laps in a row there, Wardez, before you went in the pit.
That was awesome.
That's
I wasn't loving the Jag Group 4 here.
It didn't look happy in the S's.
Nah. I mean, yeah. If I might...
In the exit of the hairpin, though, it looked okay. It had a nice, smooth exit every time there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't hating it there. Had a decent little turn in for the slow stuff. But yeah, the S's... Yeesh.
And my optimal is a 206.9.
So you're saying that he was in your room earlier?
Yeah, before you joined, he was in here, and he had a lap up there, and I've probably done like 30 laps now, like, and the first 20, I made a mistake, like, 1 mistake per lap every time with the motion steering. Like, it's tough to just get every exit right. But, I started just going wider and wider on my entries and using more road, and it came together.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I could maybe get a low 8 in the Jag if I put time into it. I don't know. But
a low 8?
Yeah.
I think you get 07s. We were going like same pace.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Oops. But it's qualifying is going to be weird, isn't it? With fuel off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, but yeah.
I wonder how many people are still going to try to find Slipstream. Even though it's not going to be as strong anymore.
Yeah, some people, I guess, will feel like they need to do it. Like if you're in a low-powered car, but it's just, it's annoying to have someone behind you, too.
I know.
You never know.
I will always look for win Slipstream after the good luck it has brought me.
Yeah,
he doesn't make mistakes. There's no danger following Win. It's too consistent.
I'm just glad that it means I can finally run my own quali, because I hate following other cars because it's just so off-putting, especially as I'm coming up through the ranks in terms of ratings. So I'm usually coming across drivers that are slower than me.
Yeah.
So it's nice not to be impeded for once, you know.
Man, I almost had a pretty good slipstream in the top 16. I was following an Aston Martin. I think it was Pelican, and I was in the RS01, and I was, everyone's kind of doing their fuel burning, and then they stopped doing it at the end of the back straight of Catalunya, so they just took off, and I barely kind of took off. I tried accelerating with them, but I lagged a little bit, so I was like right on the bubble of being in their draft, so I didn't quite get the effect, but and that ended up being the last time I did something like that before this slipstream change. So I just always like doing it on my own anyway, just taking off. I don't like being with other
Yeah, I
cars
feel
at
like it's
all.
more earned when it's on your own. It's by your own work, not because you're being pulled along by perhaps necessarily a quicker driver.
Dude, those were the best. Like when I'd get a P2 or a pole, and I did it on my own, and everyone else was drafting it up in the train. Those were some of the
Yeah.
best moments.
I mean, a win's a win and a pole position's a pole position, but when you're doing it because of something that's not really your fault, it doesn't feel as sweet.
No. Yeah, you feel like you got away with something.
Yeah, could I really have got this pole if Wind wasn't in the lobby, or if Cooper decided not to race?
I remember one of the real obvious cases was that Tokyo track where it was like the super long straight. I forget what it was. What was it called? I forget what it was called. Outer
Is
Loop.
that
East Outer?
East
Yeah.
Outer, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite course in the game. One of them.
Really?
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I love.
First time I
city
drove it,
circuits.
I'm like, this is such a weird track. Like, when there's like not that many tracks in here.
It's kind of like a weird Le Mans because you're just going down that strip forever, and then you have to remember to get back in the mode of like braking and doing corners. That
I love
first
like the
corner.
high speed like corners. Like the sweepers are like real sweepers. You doing like 140 through the S's, like the first part after the bridge.
Yeah.
And crazy speed in group threes, and then doing it in the wet is like even better. It's so much fun.
I almost wish they'd had some chicanes in into that track to break up that long straight.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
because it's something to do.
Even like a fast
put the
chicane, that'd be
south-
cool.
Put the South Outer
Yeah.
chicane down the middle.
Oh, no more of those.
The big bump.
I mean, it's nice when you've got a car like the M6, even though it's not planted in most chicanes. In that chicane, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So it's nice seeing everyone else muck up around me because they got a worse car for it. But I don't want to see any more of those corners.
Nah. But I miss proper city circuits. I don't know why those aren't a thing anymore in GT.
I
Got a
never
point.
got to play London city centre for
Ooh,
the
those are fun.
road
Dude,
track.
Really weird
And
to race
obviously being
on.
British,
Had tall curbs.
Yeah, and no pit. There's no pit road either. Pit lane.
it'd be
Yeah,
It'd be
you would
nice
just
to have
like
a
appear on the track, like the
a
rally
home
course.
street race. Yeah, I'd have to go there when I was scouting it out and see if they make me one of the AI.
You go through
like,
Piccadilly Circus
Appear
and
in
all
the
that.
crowd.
Yeah.
Drive through the Buckingham Palace.
That'd be fun. But I miss Madrid from GT5. That was my jam.
Same. N6. It was my favorite course in GT6.
What was the Italian circuit? Was it?
I liked it in
Rome?
reverse the most.
Rome?
Not a lot of people agree
Oh,
with that.
reverse is sick, dude. Yeah, where you go through the it turns that the hairpin around the like that piece of art, like big column
The
thing.
fountain thing.
Yeah, or yeah, was it a fountain? Yeah, it turned that into a way more challenge.
Yeah, I liked everything about that track. Both ways. I did an endurance race there, like my first endurance league that I ever joined, probably like 2013 or something, like way back. And having to like learn that track really like made me like appreciate how cool it was. I drove it for like an hour. I'm like, wow, this place is awesome.
I
Wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah, with
at
street
first.
tracks as well. Even though the corners might not be so exciting, or sometimes a bit bland, Azerbaijan being an example of that in the F1 calendar, but you notice something new every time you run there with the scenery. Such a nice, cool environment to run in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes you'll like wipe out, crash, and then you'll start trotting along trying to get back on your way, but you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a cool thing over there, and it's a pretty wicked piece of art or something I didn't notice
Yeah.
before that was weird. Yeah, I love that about them.
Remember like
I'm about
Tokyo
to go bed.
264 had
I'll
some
see
cool
y'all
stuff
later.
on the
All right,
outside.
Cards, take care, bro.
246.
Thanks for
Later,
joining.
Thanks for
Cards.
having me.
Yeah,
You
I'm
definitely
gonna go to bed too. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Night, Cooper.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
Sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Got a stable internet connection for more than a couple minutes, Deafsun?
He might still be flashing.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he can't connect.
I got disconnected first. I was like, what happened? Like, I saw even like the little like like a little message in GT popped up, like something about the network. As I was following you, I'm like, well, if I was disconnected, how can I still see Wardez?
Right.
And right after
Well, I
that, he
mean,
started bugging out.
GT Sport had that massive. Sorry, no. PSN had that massive problem yesterday with the parties.
Oh
Basically,
yeah.
just sat in Discord call and worked on stuff, but become quite unstable the last few days. What with everyone jumping on because of Corona.
I'm one of those weird people that miss Monaco or Côte d'Azur in
I miss it a
GT.
lot. It's one
Yeah.
of my better tracks. I have a snail record there.
Oh, nice.
I feel like I'd like it if it was here, but it's not like a track that I'd rush to be like, I need this. I need this in the game.
See, we used to race multi-class Super GT on that bitch.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was weird, but it worked somehow.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and there'd be 50-minute races.
Interesting is one word for it.
Oh, dude,
Scary is
we had
another.
we put this video together. I think I still have it somewhere on my other YouTube channel, but it was a 3 wide moment going up to Casino in
God.
GT 300s, and you know those are little things, so they could do it. That was wild. That was one of the coolest passes I've ever seen in GT.
I suppose that's the thing. On Monaco, if you pass someone, it's usually one of the most amazing passes you've done.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was the chicane. You know how...
Wait, the coming out the tunnel?
Yeah, coming out of the tunnel. In real life, they have an escape road, but in GT 5 and 6, it was just a punk. Dude. Yeah.
I love the circuit, but yeah, if there was one thing I'd have on in terms of street circuits in this game, it would be Formula E circuits and cars.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
I mean,
you have some cool variants.
I'm a massive Formula E nerd now. I mean, I want to go and work in there, but there's just nowhere on apart from like R Factor where you can drive these cars.
Forza.
Oh yeah, but that's Forza.
I know, yeah. It was weird.
I can't be seen on Forza. I'm a Gran Turismo
Me
player.
neither. Yeah, dude. I would have to turn in my cool card, but
Yeah.
yeah, they have them in there, but they don't have like any proper tracks for them or anything. But it would be interesting because you know Monaco has its weird variant that they run.
Yeah, Monaco, it just skips down after the first corner right down the hill. Yeah, it's an interesting layout.
I really like the layout they use for Mexico City. That one's interesting.
I think my favourite's got to be. It sounds biased, but the proposed London one for this year. I was going to end up going to that, and the fact that it went inside a building and then up through the buildings like a car park and shit is just so cool.
Wow, the London races are cursed, aren't they? I don't think one's ever been successfully held that I can think of.
I think no, yeah, because they never seem to go too well.
They always try doing F1. It's like Bernie, like every 2 years, Bernie would try to make London happen, and they wouldn't.
Yeah, it's sort of every 2 years. Yeah, London, no.
Oh, dude, that reminds me of Tokyo R246, was it? I always forget the number.
Yeah, it's 246. I loved that one in reverse too, and I loved how you could slide the walls and knock all the debris around, and then it would be like a line of like debris that you'd have to travel through. It'd be like a clean line, debris on the edges.
I love that track.
I think we might have to migrate parties. It's broken. People can't join. Not entirely sure.
Yo, Randall.
Would probably help at this point.
Yeah, I really like R2046. There was this infamously quick Greek guy. He rubbed people a little wrong back in the GT5 days. Depending on who you were, it rubbed you wrong. But I used to really like the dude. His name was Tony1311, and he was like kind of like lightning level fast, really really cool. I mean, really really quick. And he was kind of secretive. No one ever really talked to him or anything, like, besides racing. But he was insanely fast. And the only place I could ever hang with him, I only did it one time, was Tokyo R246. And that that made me feel super good, dude. Every once in a while, you kind of catch a race where you're able to hang with the greats, and I just loved. It was just because that it's the whole practice makes perfect. Put as more time as into it as you can, and I put a ton of time into that track just because I love it, and it ended up paying off. Especially in the one sector that I was really fast was the third sector, and in forward configuration,
with
where
the
it's
walls.
yeah, dude, and you go downhill left on
Mhm.
that really kind of tighter confined right before the last
You need to pick your
corners.
line carefully with those walls at the last part.
Yeah,
Get right up on them.
yes, and I was just going faster through there. From I don't know why I was able to go a lot quicker through there. But every once in a
Maybe that
while, you
track
just
is why
figure that
I'm good
out.
at tracks at walls now.
Right.
All the walls that Monaco in there, gotta just like rub right against them to get the good laps if you can get close.
I'm gonna head out to another party with Deafsun. Thanks for that, mate. It was good to be a part of that. If you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
follow us in, be our guest. Yeah, that was a cool podcast, dude.
For sure. Yeah, I'll follow you guys over there.
See you in a
Alrighty,
minute.
I'll join too.
Cool. I'll be over there in a second. Don't see the party yet. Oh, how do you do a car show in Gran Turismo? That's one thing. Like one of the weird lobbies that I would see. No judgment, but I only say weird because I haven't really ever tried doing them or even glimpsed into them. But people would have like car shows, um, like cruise rooms. In cruise rooms, I understand because you just drive slowly and cruise around, I guess. But then there's like cop rooms and drag racing, and I'm just like, how does that work? They must have to do some real work in order to make that stuff. But it's a sandbox. Like that's what people like in any video game. They want to have treat it like a sandbox. That's why Minecraft is so popular. That's why certain game modes like Roblox and stuff are so popular. People just want to do their own thing, even if it doesn't even
Oh
really
yeah.
make sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
yay!
you should. Speaking of that, you should see our world. Wardez.
Oh
It
yeah.
is amazing.
Oh, I heard you talking about that earlier. Yeah, it's like a race. It's the racing world in Minecraft that you have.
Oh boy.
No, it's like a big
Is the penalty
city. We
sign
named
still
it
there?
Oh yeah, the penalty sign is on the first corner of the Del
It's
Mar
like the
race.
main attraction.
Well, that's the last thing I thought we'd be talking about when I joined back.
Are you still live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay, well we can do some promo for Del Mar, I guess then.
For sure.
No, it's a big world that all of us have spent like a couple of months now. It's got to be working on.
Well, not me. I never played Minecraft.
Well,
Can't really
all of
justify
the
buying
Minecraft
that
guys
game,
in our
but
team.
I respect
and
what
some
you've
of
done
our
with that.
friends.
It looks cool.
Well, Mike refuses to buy any Microsoft products because of Bill Gates.
Conspiracy stuff. I
Is that a fact?
What,
I know
what, the Bill
Mike
Gates
too
made
well
it?
now.
Yes, Bill
The
Gates
internet
made
is not happy with him right now.
it. No, they're not. They're like, why are you trying to chip us, bro? But
Deafsun, you still practicing or?
Yeah, I'm just trying some cars out at some of the races right now.
Cool.
I'm gonna do
If-
some
If
Interlagos.
if you open it up this morning later, maybe in a few hours, let me know.
Yeah,
I'm
of
doing
course.
delivery now, so.
I will probably sleep within the hour because it's almost 4 here, and
Yes.
then when I do, if you want me to, I can leave it up overnight. I don't mind doing that.
If you can, I would
Yeah.
very much love you for doing that.
Yeah, I'll do it. And then when I wake up, I'll save it and close it down, and then I'll just fully shut off the PS4 for a few hours so that it can like have its
Yeah.
rest.
You
What
run the
PS4 have
world.
you got?
You're the
Have
owner
you
of
got
the world.
Original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got
Which
the
sucks
original
because
PS4?
it basically means that people can only go on it when I have the thing open, which obviously is not always possible. But I try my best to make sure it's open.
I was really disappointed earlier. I ordered Chinese, and it didn't arrive until about 8 o'clock. and 8 o'clock's when I go to bed because
Chinese what? Food, right?
No, a person. Food.
Well, I mean, I'm.
What else would I order that's Chinese?
Well.
But no, I had to go to sleep, and I was like, I'm about to fall asleep. If I fall asleep now, then the guy's just gonna obviously cancel my order. So then I stayed up. I got the Chinese. I came back and I sat down, and I was literally out. Like,
just say it was Chinese food.
Yeah,
I got
please,
the Chinese.
Chinese
Just
food.
just put food on, please. It just doesn't sound right when you say it that way. I can't. I'm sorry. It's me. It's me being dumb.
Is that a English thing? Do you guys not do that? Do you guys have?
I don't
to
know.
say food?
When I hear, I went to bed, but then I wasn't able to get the Chinese. I don't know. It just sounds like you're talking about getting a person to me. So maybe it is. Maybe it is a North American thing. I don't know.
Okay, I'll adjust it.
We'll get used to it.
I got back upstairs from getting the Chinese food, and I literally sat on my bed, put the Chinese down. I was literally the quickest I've ever fallen asleep. I was out, and I woke up like 5 hours later. Chinese food is stone cold, and you can't eat cold Chinese food because the rice will make you sick for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I have some cold chicken lo mein in the kitchen. Should I not eat it?
Luckily, the chicken was fine because it's corn chicken. Because I'm a vegetarian who likes to tell people that I'm a vegetarian. Wardez.
Oh, you felt the sting earlier.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't like telling people about it. But it's one of those things where you get lumped into a group.
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, so you're a vegetarian, so you're going to mention it every 10 minutes. Great.
Right. So you typically the newer vegetarians or vegans that tend to bring you into the program.
Always guys that are in their like first week of being vegetarian. Oh, I'm a vegetarian now. Oh, you guys are so bad because you're not vegetarians.
It's the same with like jiu-jitsu or
to be fair,
CrossFit.
Everyone goes. I had it particularly as well. Like for the first like 2 weeks, I couldn't stop saying that I was a vegetarian.
It's good to be mindful of it, though, yeah. It's an exciting time.
I was on work experience, so I was in Birmingham doing stuff for Autosport.
Oh, sweet.
And I was in some really fucking fancy places. And it was, you'd be saying stuff like, you'd be doing the orders, and you'd be going, I'll just have the vegetarian special, please. Making it very clear that you weren't a meat-eating scum. Yeah, after a while though, you realise nobody actually gives a shit.
Well, I dabble in the vegetarian world. I take from it, I benefit from it in certain ways, certain recipes that are healthier. Like, I had some, what are they called? Like, it's kind of like dim sum, kind of like wontons, and they're vegetarian.
Dumplings?
Yeah, kind of like dumplings. Forget, they're a certain type of dumpling, but they're so good, vegetarian style. And veggie burgers are great.
Yeah.
It can be.
I mean, I just like the fact that because I'm a student, meat's usually one of the most expensive foods you can buy. So it saves me a lot of money. That's probably the biggest benefit, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
That, and I can be closer to the lifestyle of Lewis Hammy-chan.
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe one day I can have
point.
the best fans.
Yeah, where did he got mad at somebody last year for, I forgot.
Something or the other.
Yeah, he took a stand on the environment and cruelty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he did a Twitter rant, didn't he? About I think it was about recycling, wasn't it? It was like plastics and that, and saving fuel, and people. And Fernando Alonso reacted to him and said, well, yeah, but you've said all this, but you fly all across the world every week. You know, in a private jet.
Yeah.
But then when he talks about this stuff, and I really want to meet him and ask him about it, is you realise how much he actually does for like being zero emissions and stuff and all that, and carbon neutral, I think.
Right.
He must put an insane amount of work into being carbon neutral.
Yeah,
it's got to be bloody hard.
He's got to hire a few consultants as well. So it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
he puts into the economy.
I heard even like he doesn't even allow his co-workers to use plastic. Like when they're around him, they can't use plastic at all.
Oh, geez. What if I have a plastic insulin device thing? It's like, nope.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly never got out of a nightclub at 3 in the morning and gone and ordered a kebab.
Right.
Yeah, it's, is that a thing? Is that a thing in America? That's
No,
actually probably quite
not.
British.
It is.
Kebabs, yeah. They're
No,
not
like
common.
nightclubs coming out and having a kebab.
We come out and do
Going-
tacos more. Or if you're in
Yeah,
like
we
New
don't
York,
have that as much. Obviously, we're
something
further
else.
from Mexico than you
That
are.
Taco Bell in the city probably gets full at night that we went to.
Yeah, New York City.
When I go to Canada next year, you've got to take me to a Taco Bell because I've never been.
They have them. Do
I
they
don't
They
have,
don't have them over here.
they have them in Canada?
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh, cool.
They
Right
don't
next
have them
to-
over here. The only thing we have is Denny's. I have a Denny's across the
Ah,
road from
that's
me.
interesting.
See, we don't have that. We don't have Denny's.
We've
Denny's
got like
are
maybe
lame.
4 in the country, I think.
Denny's are nothing to be
They're
excited
so
about.
expensive.
Seriously.
We only got Chick-fil-A like a year ago, and there's only one restaurant in the whole city.
Never even
Ah.
heard of that.
They're
It's
like,
like,
mediocre.
They sell
chicken
like
burgers.
chicken sandwiches. Never
We only
been
have
though.
like places that try to be American, like desperately, like TGI Fridays.
Oh, we have
It's
that
like
as well.
they are the
They don't
worst.
try to be American. That's an American franchise.
Well, even though it's an American franchise, because it's in Britain, and I don't know, maybe this is a thing that maybe it's the other way around for like British restaurants for you guys, but it feels like they're trying too hard to be American. They're like over exaggerating the Americanness of the restaurant
They
because
do that here too.
they
They,
think
have like stuff all over the walls and everything. They kind of
yeah.
change their image a little bit. It's like too
Well, that's the
tacky.
immersion, though. I feel like it's like if I go to the Mandarin, I don't want it to feel like McDonald's. You know, like it's got to have
Yeah,
it's got to
but
have
if
that
I-
kind of.
But if I go to TGI Fridays, I don't want to feel like the waiter's gonna come up to me in a 10-gallon hat and go, "Yeehaw! What do you want to order?" Pew, 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 pew.
Do you guys have Red Lobster in UK?
I've never heard of that. I assume it sells lobster.
They do.
Yeah, we've got that, and
That would
Up
be my
here.
favorite chain restaurant, but they're not that great either. Just they have one item on their menu that I really used to
Well,
like a lot.
The way that they rope you in these American franchisee or franchise kind of big restaurants is they have it become a family thing, so that when you're a kid and your family brings you there, you're like, oh, this is awesome. I love coming to Red Lobster because blah blah blah. Oh, they put lemon on my shrimp. Whoa, you know. So by the time you get older, it's a nostalgia thing, and so it's a comfortable place to go to. And you realize you're like, food's kind of shitty, but whatever. What can I expect from Tim Hortons? If you're Canadian.
I think my favorite place to eat is probably got to be, well, until January it was Nando's. But I mean,
I've messed up when I was
listen-
in England. I didn't get any.
there's an obvious problem now with going to Nando's. It only does chicken. But my favorite now has probably got to be Carluccio's. It's like a semi-posh place. Does some nice food.
Oh, yeah. I
That
mean,
makes me hungry here.
hey, right.
We haven't got as good a food culture, I think, in terms of like eating out as you guys do. Because ours is more like it's either really really shit or really really good but really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have so many different things.
Yeah, I think it's a capitalistic kind of entrepreneurial thing. I mean, we have a phenomenon over here with food trucks that are everywhere.
Oh yeah, we have those, but they're more like I've only ever seen one Mexican van, and that was in the zoo that I used to work at.
Oh, you just made
And it was
another one.
fantastic, but it was there for a week.
Oh, it was like a taco truck.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of weird ones, like fusions, because we got tired of the same old Mexican taco truck, so people will do Indian Mexican fusion,
Ooh.
or like Korean Mexican or what have you. Sometimes they're good, but kind of it can be weird. You'll have like a squid taco or something. And you'll be like,
Oh god.
And
God.
And then
Is-
sushi burritos we also have. So they roll.
Wait, a sushi burrito?
Yeah, they'll take it's like a huge hand roll. So they'll get a huge nori piece and spread rice on it and then put a bunch of fillings in it and it'll be like a burrito.
Huh.
That just sounds not so nice. I mean,
It's
the closest we
great.
have to that is like if you go to a Chinese and you can still order like a fish and chips or like an omelette.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the only difference is if you order from a Chinese place, a Chinese food place, sorry, you'll be it'll probably be packed with grease.
Oh, yeah.
Like our takeout is just horrible.
Dude, they took us out. So when I was in England for GT Academy, they took us to Donington as a part of a tour.
Oh yeah,
And,
I haven't been there yet. But,
oh, dude, the museum is
I was-
fucking so cool. You have to go.
our team raced there, but I didn't go.
The track
the
is
only
awesome
tracks-
too. I love that track.
I'm not so much a fan. I've never liked it on the sim, especially Old Hairpin.
Oh, it is in Project Cars, right? It was okay.
Yeah, it's the corner right at the bottom. It's called Old Hairpin. The
I
right
like
hander.
it. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it as a circuit, and I've driven it in the university sim quite a lot, but I've never been a massive fan.
I think it's cool. To me, it's still novel. So, I know there's a lot of racetracks to choose from in England, I guess. But so we went there. On the way there, we stopped in this Melbourne. I don't know how do you English say it? You just say Melbourne, huh?
Melbourne.
Oh, you do say Melbourne? Okay. So we stopped there because our tour guide, one of the race instructors from Silverstone, was swearing to us that this fish and chip shop was best. We went in and grabbed it, and we started eating it while we sat on this grassy field next to the track. We can see the track day that was going on. And I was like, they gave us the mashy peas or whatever they're called.
Yeah, mushy peas, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. It was
Fish and
so
chips
bland.
and mushy peas.
I needed to add about a quarter ton of salt to that thing.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're American. You guys, like, you guys must use, like, what, 2-ton trucks worth of salt per meal?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's too much.
To be fair, fish and chips, you've got to use a load of salt and a load of vinegar. Because, yeah, it's potatoes at the end of the day. It's not the most flavoursome thing in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
the circuits I've been to,
Oh, out of gas.
I've been to my favourite one, Alton Park.
Okay.
That's just my favourite circuit to drive on.
That's like a famous
Car-
BTCC circuit, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they have it in Project Cars as well, right?
Yeah, they have it in Project Cars. Well, Project Cars is a British-made game, so that's
Yeah.
why there's so many British tracks.
It's pretty narrow too, right?
Oh, it's super narrow.
Right,
Yeah,
I remember
it's-
that one. Yeah, it was challenging.
Yeah, it's really good for GT racing because there's enough room to pass, but it's still. I mean, I've walked the track there, and it's so narrow. I've been to Brands Hatch. That was probably the best experience. I was actually meant to be going there next week to race alongside the GT Open or whatever they call it.
Oh, okay.
The one David Perel competes in.
Oh, okay, cool.
But that's been cancelled, obviously.
Nah.
Brands Hatch is a really good venue, but the best one I've been to is Silverstone.
Silverstone's the shit.
International circuit.
Super flat, but we
the-
still love her.
Oh yeah, it's so good. And the surface had just been relayed when we went there, so it was super. It was super quick.
Glassy. Yeah, dude. It's an experience driving through the gates.
Were
knowing
you,
that you're there.
were you in the group with Lester that went to?
He was in
that did the, GT
2013, I think.
Oh, you were the
He was
year
14.
after.
14? Yeah, I was in 12.
Okay, yeah.
This
I think that might have been before I was watching it.
It's hard to see. Every year has its perks. People like to compare them, and people always tell me they wish they were in 2012, but I was like, I guess. I don't know.
Who won 2012?
It's Steve Doherty.
Okay.
It was close between Doherty and Jet Chandler. Jet was kind of like the chosen son, but Doherty won the race because Jet misshifted on the start. Even though he was on pole, he lost. It was a bad setup. Like, no one passed each other. So it was like, you're going to have a final showdown race. No one really has a chance to move up or anything. Okay. But they raced the International, and that was when
Oh,
the
yeah.
wing complex was like brand new, so it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, even now, like, must have been October-ish last year. Even now, it's like you would think it was built yesterday.
Dude, it's so cool looking. Yeah, it was trippy because we were
And
sleeping in Stowe Circuit in this like
yeah,
pit complex thing in this tower. When we woke up and we opened the blinds and you can see that shit, and it's just like
but
whoa.
we were sleeping I was sleeping in the back of a van in the oh, the first night I was actually on a sleeping bag on the floor of the paddock for the international, and then the second and third I was in the back of the team van.
Oh, okay, cool.
Our car blew up though.
Mm.
So I was on pit wall for practice and stuff. To this day, there is next time I go there, I'm gonna have to go to that specific spot just before the start finish line because I dropped a marker pen down the pit wall, and it's stuck in a crack just by the pit wall, and I want to see if it's still there when I get there next time.
Nice, a little memento. That's cool.
Yeah.
It probably will be. Yeah. And it's cool you can
think,
watch an F1 race just thinking like, yeah, they're passing by my
pen.
marker.
Yeah. I think yeah, I was just in the garage while they were going to do the race, and I sprinted through the paddock and up to the top. You know the balcony at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Stood there to watch it above my pit box. I bumped into some guys from Barwell, the Lamborghini GT teams. But I started a conversation with them, and then immediately had to run back down because our car broke down like maybe 5 laps in.
Oh man.
Because the big end went and basically blew a hole in the engine.
Damn.
I've not seen our car finish.
I miss the old Silverstone too, though, and I never got to see the old layout.
Oh
with
yeah,
bridge
the
and
2009
everything.
layout. Yeah.
They've had so many different layouts over the years.
I think the only reason I always call it bridge layout is just because of Real Racing called it that. And I learned it from that.
I missed that game. We used to race on that shit with a mouse.
I used to race that before I could afford to get my own console.
Oh wait, not Real Racing, the mobile game. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's cool. They had that.
I think but yeah, that's where I learned it, and then Forza as well had that because obviously Forza 4 was made before the new circuit.
I was thinking about Toka. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
Toka. Series. Yeah, dude.
That was before my time. That was Codemasters, wasn't it?
That was one of my first like hardcore sims, or you know.
I don't think that was Codemasters.
I thought it was the no, I'm pretty sure it was because it was like the pre-game to grid.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
my dad used to play them because I'm only 18, well 20, sorry. I'm only 20, so I wasn't really around.
Those games are awesome.
First proper game was Grid.
Grid, yeah, was another good one. My first one really that got me. Well, my first wheel game was Initial D in the arcade.
Oh, I wish I hadn't missed out on that. I'm
Dude,
almost finished watching Initial D now, and I'm so jealous.
You'd be bankrupt. We put so much
money. Man, I'd love to play that.
We put so much money into those machines. Oh my god, they were so fun. And Bunto was impossible to beat. Oh my god, it was ridiculous. I don't know why I kept thinking I could beat him, but.
What car was he in? Was he in the
22B, baby?
Oh.
Unbeatable. Yeah. But those are really fun. That got me addicted to like the idea of wheel driving. It was a bug bite. And then I played the Dirt series on they used to have this there was an electronics store that would have like a G25 Logitech G25 with the Dirt game like on a demo.
That's awesome. You can only find stuff like that in the West Coast, I swear.
I don't know, we had it over here a lot.
Not over here.
So we had that as well. There's like a shopping centre in Bristol, which is where I usually live when I'm not in Wales for studying. And not only, also obviously the old Stig was there. So I met I think Ben Collins he's called.
Oh, right, the racer, yeah.
Came in the Stig costume. My dad tried to lift his visor up, so Stig just like hit his hat across the car park.
Wow. Aggressive.
But But yeah, they had like a, I think it must have been a G27 or something, and they had it was probably one of the dirt games. I'm too young to remember. It was one of the first things I'd ever beat my dad on, and I rubbed it in his face for like
painful.
most of the rest of the year.
The original Dirt was so good. That's why Dirt 2.0 makes me so happy, because I feel like it's much more of a proper successor to that game. But the crashing in that game, the way everything fell apart, is so cool. And I just loved. I would go to that electronics store with my friends, and they'd be like, "Let's go to Fry's Electronics so we can." I want to buy one. Like, one of us would want to buy one thing, and I just let them all go do that, and I'd sit there the whole time and just let them come back later.
I got kicked out of one of our electronic stores. I don't know if you have Game over there.
We have like something like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically GameStop, but over here.
Right.
And they had a Forza, must have been Forza 7, possibly. The one with the Lotus F1 car.
Ah.
And
I think that's 7, yeah.
I got kicked out because I kept going back to racing there and I wouldn't come off it.
Was it race? It wasn't. Okay.
I was told 1 lap, so I put on the Nordschleife.
I tried to do that too at one of the expos.
No, nice.
Like, no, you're gonna have to leave. Sorry.
Oh my god.
They had the official Microsoft stores had like a challenge going on where they wanted people to set it was a time trial, and whoever the fastest person was got to race Nico Hulkenberg, I think it was.
Oh, nice. Shame it's on a crap game, but
yeah, I remember driving it in that game. I think, yeah, maybe 6 or 7, yeah. And I was just like, this is terrible, dude. Like, the gearing's all wrong, and downforce is really weird, and DRS
still be able
work.
to leave Hulkenberg in the dust, hanging like a cow.
Right?
Man, if only they could just remaster Forza 4.
Yeah, I love 4.
I mean, with the Jeremy Clarkson voice and with the actual variety of cars.
4 was like objectively my favorite, but 2, I don't know, something about the vibe of Forza 2 is just so on point. I loved it.
It's weird. For me, the best games in both Forza and Gran Turismo were the 4th game.
Oh,
the 4th game for me.
Oh,
was
yeah,
I
like the 3rd Gran Turismo, but yeah, 4 is like my 2nd favorite, I think.
I never got to play 3 because the disc we had was corrupted.
Oh, I played the
sucks.
shit out of 3.
So every time I put the disc in, I'd shit myself because it would go to the red screen. It's already a scary enough PS2 intro anyway.
Dude, I got I got Gran Turismo 3 on release day, and I dropped my PlayStation 2, and it fucking scratched the disc.
Ooh.
And I was so upset, dude. I was looking forward to the game so much.
So easy to scratch.
Yeah. So my uncle.
How old are you?
Oh, I forget how old I was. I was like 11 or 12. I don't know.
How old are you now?
33.
Oh god, you don't sound 33.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I sound like a child. I understand.
It's gonna be like me at 50. I'll sound the same.
But, I mean, you certainly don't sound 13 years older than me.
Ah, thanks. Well, at heart, I'm not. So.
That's fine, because at heart, I'm a boomer.
Yeah.
Hey, me too.
There you go.
I don't want to run a team livery for the M6 yet, because one of the things I like as being a livery designer is running my own liveries. So I'm gonna do I'm doing a livery for the M6. It's a W series livery. Just because I thought no one on the game I've seen has a W series livery.
W series? Oh, the women's series. Oh,
Yeah.
dude. I'm going to Mexico for the race this year. Hopefully it happens. Formula One.
Yeah.
And the W series is racing there if everything
Nice.
still happens.
I am a big fan of the idea of W series. I haven't actually watched it yet. I've got a keen interest on how Chadwick progresses with her career.
She's so cool.
My girl Jamie.
Did you get to meet her, Andrew?
I think we did. I believe we did. Not like directly, but like, yeah, she was definitely at one of the. I forget which tour it was though.
Yeah,
I completely forgot which one.
You need to take me along in the suitcase with you if she's ever coming in again.
Oh my god.
Loki would.
I don't know, man.
Is Loki what you call the
Well-
bad side of yourself?
Oh god.
Loki would do some crazy stuff to her, let me tell you.
Loki would smash. That is an opinion that not a lot of people
I'm
seem
more
to
of a
share.
floor screw. I mean, guy.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Except from the voice. Sorry. But the voice.
Oh, you don't like? Yeah, it's like a British thing where you
She's
don't
so
like
good
her
looking.
region.
And then she turns up and she's speaking like this.
Oh, Flourish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's cool though.
But Jesus, that crash she had in Macau
Oh my
was
God.
fucking mental.
Oh, that was her?
That
she
was
broke her
brutal,
back.
yeah.
Oh yeah. But the weirdest thing was, like, that was a proper, like, life-threatening injury. And she was back in cars, like, a few months later.
Yeah, she's badass. It makes me sad
That
to
is
see
properly cool.
younger people.
Did
like,
she have a brake failure, right? Or something? Or was
Yeah.
that just
Yeah, it's a brake failure.
quote-unquote brake failure?
Oh, I had a throat failure there.
Most, like, epic crash of all time, dude. Her shit was, like, 40 feet in the air, like, going 160 still.
It was gnarly, and especially
yeah.
I think
Ooh, and I
somebody.
didn't even know what it hit. It hit,
Well,
like,
people-
some ad.
Yeah, so it hit some
hit,
like billboard, I think.
Well, there were
it
people
flew
there
over the
too.
fence.
She killed.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
photography
she didn't
stand.
kill, but somebody
No,
died.
she didn't kill anyone, and
I think someone died.
no, that was
Maybe not.
Oh, I just smashed my lap I had that beat
Oh,
Stagger.
shit.
What's your best so far at Suzuka?
Me?
Deafsun? No, Deafsun.
Oh.
You were only a couple hundredths behind that, by the way, the other one.
Oh, you mean like for qualifying stint?
Hey,
For tire wear stints.
Mike. This
Well,
might be a really
you mean
odd
like with
request.
fuel consumption on or off though?
With it on.
This might be a
Oh.
really odd request.
I don't know
Mike. Could
because
you
I only
turn-
did it with the fuel off.
Could you turn your mic down a tiny bit, just because for some reason your voice is making my headset vibrate in a really weird way?
Like Windfire.
Who's that? Who's that toward me?
No, I
it's,
think it's Mike.
Oh.
Let's see how high it
It's
is.
Mike's Mike.
Mike's mic. Yeah. Can we get a
How
mic check?
about now? Is it better?
That's better. That's so much better. Thank you. Yeah, because it's like this weird. Your voice was like making my speaker vibrate in a weird way,
The
and it felt
perfect
like something was
frequency.
rattling around my headset.
Well, my favorite female racer of all time probably is going to be Michelle Mouton, the rally driver. If you haven't heard of her, look her up.
From back in the day.
Badass, man.
Yeah.
She was
I don't-
racing in the Group E Audi like Quattro.
Oh, that scary machine.
Yeah, dude. She was like weaving through the crowds, doing all that crazy shit, and hanging with the boys, beating them, like, winning. Yeah.
I think for me, my favourites, gotta be probably Chadwick. There's not exactly a lot of choice, which I hate. There should be more choice than there is.
Right. Well. Yeah, I mean, if you watch anime, there's a lot of girls. Nah. Who's that girl that's coming
Oh,
up?
yeah.
That's young. Juju Noda. She's a Japanese. She's like, I think she's 13 now, but she's famous for driving an F3 car, and she was like 9. It's ridiculous.
Well, for me, the best girl will always be Makasato.
Who's that?
That's no surprise. Come on, man. What about the ballast?
Oh, it's fine. She only weighs 47 kilograms.
Oh my god, dude. Frick. It's funny because like you were just going on about how you were watching that, like, and you're coming up to the 5th stage, whatever. And even like when we had that Discord playlist, like literally within like a second of the song starting, I'm like, oh, I know what this is. Like, and even though I watched the show like 9 years ago, it's kind of weird. I'm like, why do I remember this, but I can't remember like the most basic tasks?
We're gonna
it's so
have
funny.
to, when the official season ends, because it will be the last season for Gran Turismo, I'm pretty sure, in terms of sport. We're gonna have
Very
to record the second half of the last lap and have the Rage Your Dreams start playing.
Oh my god. Or we could not. No, I'm kidding. It's just like, man, that actually might be a good idea. Or something similar.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff we say like that that is intended to be a joke, but then we actually think.
And then we
oh,
say
actually,
it,
that
and then
might
I'm like,
actually
you know
work.
what? I would do that. Exactly.
Yeah, I still gotta watch the fifth stage. I keep putting it off.
I
I
think
watched
that
like
stage 5 is
60,
really good.
60 or 70 episodes in like a few days, and then I just haven't watched it for like 2 weeks.
Are you talking about Initial D?
Yeah, Initial D.
You know what I
Yeah.
haven't done, which I hate? I haven't watched the extra stages yet.
Extra
It's like,
stages are
I
fun.
probably should.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
they
watch
redo
the watch the oh, what's it called? Something blue, something white.
Impact
the first,
Blue?
Impact Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. That's really weird.
Oh, that's the one that's specifically about Mako and
Mako,
Sayuki,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't even know Sayuki's name. That's how little I cared about that character.
I hate all the relationships in that show, though, are always like, so they're so cringe in the way you're like, oh, come on, like, why didn't you just call her cell phone and she wouldn't have left?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the late 1990s.
It's like they
Phones
had
are a
cell
thing.
phones in Japan then. Come on.
Like,
It's
if anything,
it's like the unnecessary, like, dramatic irony. I'm like, no, we know
for a
that
start,
there was traffic. Traffic is a thing. We know that. Just let him have another chance. Like, fuck.
I'm not. I just don't get it. And the thing is, yeah, he has a bloody car. He knows where she races. Why not just
Man.
go?
But I don't know.
It's like they're living in two different universes. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, yeah, and they're only in the next like prefect over. Yeah,
but
that's
she
got to
was
be
just
what,
heading
maybe 30 miles.
She was just heading over to give a really disappointing like car sex. Anyway, so
Yeah.
he probably
Yeah,
dodged
the,
the bullet.
Probably,
The
yeah.
Mercedes boyo or baddie. Man, it's been a while. I should watch that show again.
Yeah.
It's nice not to be a. It's nice to. The only problem I have with our parties is that when Geese is there, you can't talk about it yet because he hasn't got.
We're
that
not
far.
allowed, yeah, because he's got to catch up.
Well, you should watch for sure if you want a good laugh. Is the Chinese live action Initial D.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, you should join us for that. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna group watch it.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah.
We love the
Just-
fact that and I said specifically we have to watch the English dub because it's hilarious and fantastic.
Dude,
It's so good.
Just, like one of the worst decisions they make is like they try to make Takumi like super cool, and I'm like,
Okay,
what?
they
The
turn
whole
the dad.
point was that he's a loner.
Yeah.
They turn the dad into like this like he was like this quiet like kind of badass dad, and they make him into like an alcoholic womanizer. He's like passed out for half the movie. It's like okay, well
Yeah.
then I feel like this is slightly different. Not to mention Keisuke doesn't exist, but
What?
we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Basically,
Keisuke's the
they skip.
entire point of everything.
No, I know. Well, they don't put him in. He's just not
So
in
there's
it.
so there's no Project D.
No, because the movie is only based on like the first like stage and then part of the second stage.
I'm not gonna lie. Project D is, I think, always gonna be my best, like my favorite bit.
Oh, I
of
loved
Initial
it,
D.
man. That moment when when Cascade comes out of his car and like those gangster people are coming, and then he just like dogs them down.
So, I know you.
Oh,
These guys are
man.
dicks. Beat them up for us.
Hell yeah. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was you. And just the domination that they end up achieving, and like how serious they take it, and when they have the whole, I love how they still look at professional drivers as like godlike skill level
Yeah.
drivers. It's like, oh,
I like
man.
the fact that they turn up and they basically are a professional team.
Yeah, that too. They
And then
approach it
people
super
look at
seriously.
them and go, these guys are taking this really seriously. They're almost an actual team. And they come in with the vans and the mechanics and shit. Proper cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and they break down. I love the breakdowns of the different, opponents
the
that they
only-
encounter.
The only issue that I find is that there was only one occasion ever where they came across a car going the other way mid-stage. That would happen a whole lot more in real life.
True. Yeah. Well, there was. was that one like when Takumi figured out the guy is like driving a little far from the edge, so he took advantage of that because he
Yeah.
figured the guy was always gonna be up, like kind of like paranoid. That was cool. Uh, but I love the race between Takumi and the rally driver when
Oh,
he turned his
yeah.
lights off. Yeah.
Yeah. I was misled by that because the translator on the dub that I watched got it confused with Ferrari, not Rally. So
Damn.
the whole time I thought he was I thought he was a rally driver. Sorry, a Ferrari driver.
Right.
I was like, yeah, but why does Ferrari mean you race on your own? What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be late for you. What time is it?
Not too late. It's this one 25.
Okay, it's about 9:30 over here.
4:24 on my clock.
That's 4:20.
late. That's early.
It's 4:20 is the best time of the day.
420. So it's 420 somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're doing autosport kind of thing? What's that about?
Yeah. You know the Autosport show, like the International Autosport thing in
One of
Birmingham.
my favorites.
Yeah, I was working for the Motorsport Industry Association there. They had like a VIP lounge. We were basically working in that basically the whole time. Got to have a look around. Got loads of free shit. Got loads of free Ferrari merchandise as well.
Sweet.
God damn it.
I got baited by a good-looking girl on the Autosport stand to sign up to a year's worth of Autosport magazine. So that was not the highlight of the week, but there was so much cool shit there. Got to see all the Formula One cars and stuff. Went on like hundreds of different simulators. Yeah, almost ended up winning the Formula E thing there. That was quite cool.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, it was a really good week. Got a load out of it. I've got some useful contacts as well. The most important of which was my future boss, hopefully, head of marketing at Formula E.
Of course.